take a trip, to cop out, to groove. The psychedelic jackets on the record albums have their own hidden songs.
This is a special request. We don't want you to smoke genetically modified ganja. We want you to smoke the real thing. We want you to smoke the natural herb. Some call it marijuana, some call it sensimilla, some call it lamb's bread, and some people call it ganja.
Welcome to another edition of the Adam Dunn Show. I'm your host, Adam Dunn.
I'm your co-host, Mitch Shanasa.
With the loud mic.
And the sunglasses on
extraordinarily loud mic.
Sunglasses.
Can you turn my levels down? I am too loud.
Of course you are.
Yeah, that's why I said turn mine down.
But you're the same level as everything.
Well, my voice is an acoustic anomaly. We've discussed this dozens of times.
You hear that sound?
Yeah, what's that?
I do. I don't know. Let's just keep doing
What
it.
does that sound?
Is the clock still going?
Figure it out. You're the kid.
Then let's keep doing it.
That's what we do.
What is that sound?
We're outdoors, so it's going to sound a little crazy.
Yeah, we're outdoors to start with. I'm going to sit a
down
little
here.
further back.
It's a bad ground somewhere.
So today we're going to see at least two things that I never thought I'd see before.
Feminized Autoflower.
Feminized auto. Adam's mic doesn't sound good anymore. What happened?
My mic always sounds shitty.
I know, but FYI though, that buzz that you're hearing is quite literally apparently the train from across the street.
Interesting.
You can hear the electricity from the tracks.
No way.
Yes, yes, it is. Take your headphones off. Yep.
Oh,
See, they're stopped.
wow.
Yes, it is.
So we shouldn't do shows outside.
What?
Can you try to fix?
Can we hear that and they can hear that, or only us?
What? Your level. Do your ABCs, Adam.
ABC.
Okay, we're live on the air. This is dumb to do.
Swag.
Okay.
Your mic's all fucked up.
Fix Adam's mic.
How about
Today
now?
we're going to
Better?
see.
No.
Today we're going to see two things I never thought I was going to see before.
Autoflower, feminized.
Autoflower, feminized weed that's actually dank, and
That's actually dank.
and a product invented by the kid.
That's the two amazing things.
That's a
And
good product. A good product invented by the kid.
one with a little help from his friends.
With a lot of help.
With a little help.
Like
from
significant,
And
like
well,
majority.
three
help.
things if we count my friend Mike Solka,
Hello.
engineer. You're not talking to the mic.
Yeah.
You got to talk into this. Let me explain how microphone. Yeah, he's like got it all down there. He's not an audio engineer, that's for sure.
It's okay. It doesn't sound good out here anyway, so it's not a big deal.
Okay. My mic sounds great.
I don't know what it is, dude.
Yeah,
It's just your fucking mic, and it's not like you get the same physical mic every week. So I don't know.
What, you know how to
Microphone
talk into
technique.
things?
And you know, and
You're
like I
wasting the
said,
mic right now. I'm
I
right
know.
on it like you. I'm sniffing it like
I know it sounds
You gotta
funny.
adjust. You gotta adjust.
So this
you
is
gotta
rental,
adjust
this
this.
is rental gear?
Sometimes
No, this is our gear.
Sometimes you gotta get close like this. And
We
sometimes
move
you
it
gotta
around
go
a
far.
lot. It gets shitty. So we got engineers that will help us engineer through this show if I need that.
Well, more importantly, he's going to explain. I brought Mike on just because it's awesome to hear him talk about anything. It's totally different than the way our brains work, so it's hysterical. We got hash that Frenchie Cannoli made. Is that yes?
That's some Frenchie, yeah.
Frenchie made this at our seminar, hash seminar. So we're going to smoke this.
There you go. Smoke it up, man. Smoke it.
All right, let's do it.
Smoke.
And we're going to start, I guess, with
And we also got
our good buddy the kid. Oh, you want to do
we got
news?
Colin Gordon calling
You don't
in
have to do
later.
news.
Oh, yeah. So then when we get to the feminized breeding segment,
What?
we got Mephisto Genetics, we got Riot Seeds, we got Ethos. Is it Ethos Genetics? Ethos Collective?
Collective. Yes.
And we got Colin Gordon. We're going to take a deep review of feminized breeding because, especially after our last feminized episode, I think a lot of people started sort of reconsidering it. For however long, feminized was synonymous with crap, right? Is that generally?
From a breeder's point of view, yes.
That's what everyone, but that was the general vibe.
And then, of course, there was a lot of misinformation put out there as far as, you couldn't use them as moms, or you couldn't, there was things like that, which wasn't true. Autoflowers, by the way, of course, you cannot use as moms. But feminized, yeah, of course you could. But, I personally am always, I'm definitely on the fence all the time, and I like to hear people who are real confident about it. So by having these guys here, and I think they all have, maybe some same techniques, but I think also some totally different.
I think some very different techniques in there.
And interestingly enough, you're trying to get to the same goal with three different ways.
You're trying to do the same thing in the plant, even. You're not trying to feminize it three different ways. It's all about the ethylene pathways.
Yep.
And it's different ways of making that happen, which is pretty cool.
And for sure, with Collins, for instance, he's got a completely different angle without the same blocking idea. So
You know what I bet's happening with the mics? If our audio engineer wasn't fucking around with the rosin press,
The mics they sound the same as when I got up 3.5 seconds ago.
Oh.
Yeah, no, but I bet if you go in a live stream.
It has nothing to do with live stream. What you hear, you don't hear live stream. So you
Okay,
don't hear
I don't hear live stream.
You're
Okay,
not hearing
I don't
live
really know what I'm talking about here.
You know nothing.
So let's. You want to start the show?
Let's start the show. We actually got news.
With something that I'm not even
News.
hearing.
Oh my God! What a crybaby.
All right, we'll do news.
news?
You want to do how was your week? We haven't done how's your week in a while. I honestly don't know how you've been doing.
It's been an interesting week. Actually, Cece and Nick are off to Sweden.
Oh, so you're partying like
via
you're 15.
Iceland. Yeah, I'm just partying straight through, like, nonstop. No.
CC all psyched right now because Sweden's women beat America's women in soccer.
I'm sure that would be pretty high on her list of things
She's
she
psyched.
doesn't care about.
But I bet Sweden's all freaking out. Probably a good time.
Probably. But not like America's a big
Soccer? No, but neither is Sweden.
Wow. I think a few
More than us.
Way more than us. They actually won things at one point.
Yeah, America too. American women win soccer.
Okay, well,
There you go. So it's a
Yeah.
big deal for Sweden. Go Sweden.
go Sweden. Yeah, so they're off, and had friends come through, and been busy just kind of getting this next
Late
show,
night
getting
partying.
this next show lined up.
Which next show? Oh, or the show here. So
Next
tell me
session.
about that because we haven't even talked about that. Who's coming? What's the guy's name?
Pogo. We haven't announced
Pogo.
it officially yet, but it's
Oh.
now being announced on the show.
You're announcing
here.
it right now,
Announcing
yeah.
it here, but he's doing collabs with everybody.
So
A
it's
lot of
not
our
just
friends,
Pogo Glass.
A lot of our friends. He's gonna have a Bates flamethrower.
Nice. Are they going to take it out here and shoot it?
Maybe if we're lucky. Depends on how the
How can we should make them pass
probably
around a
get
hat.
insurance. Probably get insurance first.
Wow, get insurance.
Burn that down and have a nice view.
Burning down the house. But he's gonna do stuff with Worm. He's got stuff with Size Love. He's got all
Little
good
big
artists.
names, yeah.
And Bertoni and
Good.
a lot of locals. A bunch of locals.
Is he local?
Who? He's from Austin, Texas originally.
Austin, Texas.
Yes.
Nice.
I think he's now
It's a place that's
becoming
like
local.
here
I
that's
think
not
he's
here.
Just moving here. So.
It's a good way to come here.
And guess who's going to be hosting?
Is it going to be you?
Oh, his mic sounds good too.
How come your mic sounds good?
What do you mean? They're
What, I don't
all
have a voice
see,
on it?
and
My voice
here's
is gone.
you want to know what?
What?
I'm going to be
Can't
honest
talk.
with you with what I think it is.
What?
I think our equipment's just shoddy.
Trashed from.
Yeah, because I really think that maybe the channel, because you're always the same thing that you are always plugged into is the same channel. You are always channel 2, and maybe. And
gotta
now
change it,
maybe
too.
something janked around, and now mine sounds a little bit like, because you're right, mine does sound better now that
You
I've
sound
sat
good.
back down. I haven't touched anything, so I
Mine's
think it's
the
just that
worst.
time. And again,
Let's try to change the
One
cables
wire away.
first.
I'm one wire away.
noise
I don't
is
want to know.
It's
the
gone.
train
And
track.
Mike, I can't tell if you're talking in the microphone or not.
I don't want to know.
No,
Yeah,
his
timing.
and mine suck.
I'm out.
We're on the sucky team.
They're on Team Suck.
Team suck on the suck.
Ryan, are you on channel 1 or you're on 3-4?
I'm on channel 3.
So yeah, we're on 1 too. So if I'm good, can't be software is basically the thing because those are together.
Wow, we're figuring this out live on the air.
Yeah.
I sound like shit.
Yeah.
Still.
I don't know what it is. Do you want to swap spots? You can use this mic.
Yeah,
It sounds much
give
clearer.
Adam the good mic. We'll give the guest
Or
the
just
good mic.
switch mics.
Give the guest the good mic. And right now you're the guest, Ryan. You're the guest. You're the guest. You're the guest.
Oh yeah, I guess that does make sense.
Yeah, there you go.
But we still have to do news and shit, right?
That's
Now
what
you
I
sound
pulled this
crappy again.
computer up for.
Because I backed away from the mic.
Okay.
Yeah, I still sound for that. You're right, though. It does
weird.
sound different
I
now.
know, because Vinny's going crazy over there.
That's what I'm
Vinny,
saying. I
stop
think that there's
going
something
crazy.
broken in there. I really do. Because the second he touched the knobs, the second he touched the knobs, my voice went away. Yeah, now it sounds different again. You're right.
You're right.
You're making me nervous because we use Nutric connectors in that box.
Well, I don't
You're
know
not
what to
supposed to say
about
that. You're not supposed to say that. Yeah.
Yeah, now the kid sounds like a
See, 'cause
robot.
now I sound like a robot. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Robot.
Optimus Prime kid.
I'm telling you, that's broken.
Is that the? Yeah, we gotta get a new box.
New box. New
I
box
need,
city.
I need a cold plate.
New box
We
city.
got some sap.
Cool. I'm waiting for a browser to load up so I can get news.
So we're combining. Okay, wait. Did you didn't do your week? How's your
Oh
week?
yeah, how was my week? Jeez, my week was fast.
How's your gout?
Downstairs.
Gout. All right, so
Tell
here's
me
the
about
thing.
your reindeer poop.
So I was worried about, and the gout was a long-standing concern, and so I got some Chinese herbs. And
DAB?
well, no, I started with the Yin Yang How, and that seemed to really be doing something. It felt crazy the first time I took it. It definitely seemed like I was taking something that I needed. It felt like I was on drugs, so that was cool. And then I added in a whole bunch of mushrooms, like healthy, not the kind that make you trip, the other kind of healthy mushrooms, like reishi and maitake and all that stuff. And then last night I added deer antler serum and mountain ant serum, and
And the mountain ant was the shit then.
I feel like I'm 22 again. Yeah,
I've heard good things about the deer antler velvet.
Yeah, deer antler. See, he's some engineer. He knows.
I've never tried it though.
You got to talk in the mic, otherwise no one can hear you. And even
I'm
if you
trying.
talk in the mic, it's possible some people won't hear you.
Give me channel X, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
Shit channels.
Oh, and I love the sirens in the background. That's what makes it rustic out here in 5 points.
Doing the show outside today, huh? What's going on?
Rustic, 5 points, Denver.
Oh my god.
Oh my goodness. All right, I'm gonna try to get news off my phone because
Kids,
internet's.
I sent you news.
I know.
Check your mic. No, let me
Check, check, check.
Oh, now I can hear you.
Is that better?
Mike from Mike. Yeah. Hey, Mike.
Sound like myself?
You sound pretty much
Does this
like
one
yourself.
still sound bad?
No,
Yes.
now it sounds good.
Sounds like Ryan.
Okay,
it's
good.
Terrible.
It has to do with the positions. It's the acoustics. It's a mystery.
One day.
One day you think we'll figure it out? Adam?
It's your pyramid.
So tell me
you
about
haven't
yours.
centered your pyramid.
Yeah.
Pretty close. Tell me about your week, Mr. Mitch.
Oh, so that I just told you about it.
Yeah.
I took all these crazy herbs,
And then what happened?
and I feel greater. Greater. I feel greater. Really, I feel like a conqueror.
The Conqueror Herbs. So, kid's got lots of material now to play with.
Yeah,
also.
he's psyched.
He's all excited.
Okay.
Parchment paper's flying around.
I got news here.
Tell us.
All right, it's loading. Where's the bowl? Here's the bowl. I'm gonna smoke some hashish.
Lunch. Go. Oh, no, incredible. I'm very impressed.
It's good hash. I'm not gonna lie.
Good ash. Hey, it's ash. It's good.
Hey Ryan, remember when you were skeptical of this hash? It's good hash.
Oh, no, I was never skeptical of the hash.
Of course you were.
It was not.
He just wants to squish everything.
Yes.
This is true. I've noticed this.
There's good hash, Adam. You should smoke some of it. Great melt. Wonderful bouquet. Okay, that's what. Okay, is there anyone hitting the news button, or is Adam just going to say, "Oh, wait, we have someone from Philly here"? Yes, come here. Come get on the mic and say news. Do it. Yes, you're going to sound just like it. Do it. Yes, come do it. But then you got to push the button and not the rosin
Stop
press. You got to push
squishing.
news.
Start pushing buttons. You're on the show.
Stop squishing. Start.
No, come on, kid.
Come on.
Kid.
Oh, come on. Everyone's waiting. The whole show is waiting for this. All right, I'll just read it. U.S. government won't reclassify marijuana, allows research into possible medical benefits. The Obama administration has decided marijuana will remain on the list of most dangerous drugs, fully rebuffing growing support across the country for broad legalization, but said it will allow more research into its medical uses. The decision to expand research into marijuana's medical potential could pave the way for the drug to be moved to a lesser category. Heroin, peyote, and marijuana are, among others, are considered Schedule I drugs because they have no medical application. Cocaine and opiates, for example, have medical uses and, while still illegal for recreational use, are designated Schedule II drugs. The Drug Enforcement Administration said the agency's decision came after a lengthy review and consultation with the Health and Human Services Department, which said marijuana, quote, has a high potential for abuse and, quote, no accepted medical use. The decision means that pot will remain illegal for any purpose under federal law, despite laws in 25 states and the District of Columbia that have legalized pot for either medicinal or recreational use. So, what do you think? I think we might have dodged a bullet there, bud.
I think it's better. Yeah, well, we just want to not classify it at all.
Right, yeah, we don't want it
we don't-
descheduled.
I don't-
Schedule 2 is worse than illegal. Well,
Correct.
Yeah, I think it's better.
Yeah, you sound good now, Mike.
Thanks.
Yeah, you sound
Yeah,
great.
suddenly you'll have regulation where people that have been in denial for 70 years have avoided even research.
Yeah.
Now they're going to be tasked with regulating. That's going to be a mess.
Well, you need some kind of probably FDA license to make pharmaceutical stuff, right?
That's what I mean. Automatically, you're like, oh, wait a minute, you're making what? No, you can't do that, because that's where we are right now with everything that people forget that they can't go and do a lot of. They can't grow tobacco in any kind of scale. They can't sell it. You know what I mean? That's like way more controlled than cannabis.
Right.
Like, go ahead, start growing
Start your own whiskey company, like,
whiskey or
and
tobacco
start selling it
company.
online. See how that turns out
Yeah,
for you.
Exactly. So that's when it becomes really regulated, and pharmaceutical grade even worse, because now you got the whole like non-tested. You have
Right.
could never afford it if you're sort of pushed out financially.
So, more news. That was
More
good.
news,
But
but
now
that
I don't
was-
have anyone to hit news even.
Come on, kid. News. Your favorite thing in the world. That's all you got to do. Push the button.
It's
You're over
your
there
thing. It's his thing.
You're rubbing rosin swag on a parchment paper. Come on, kid.
He's not going to do it.
You're not pushing the button? What's going on? Jesus fucking
do it.
Christ. Uh-oh, look who rolled in.
I see.
Look who rolled in.
News. This is good. News.
Did it just play?
No,
No.
I didn't hear anything.
Seriously?
Maybe they heard it. What is Obama's daughter smoking? U.S. reports claim Malia Obama was filmed smoking cannabis at a music festival. Oh,
She
shit.
got in so much trouble.
Maybe she didn't.
She did. No, I mean,
She had to
just in
give
general.
dad her weed.
The daughter of U.S. President Barack Obama is facing claims she was smoking cannabis at a music festival after a video of Malia Obama appearing to take a drag from a slim cigarette. This video, released by Radar Online, reportedly showed the first daughter, 18. Now.
Thank you.
Reportedly showed the first daughter. This video, released by Radar. Now my phone's dead, so news is done.
Oh.
Got what you fucking wanted then, didn't you, smart ass?
I never booted?
Oh wait, I found the thing too. Oh, you don't want to know what? We'd have to pull the cable out of this. You got internet on this thing, Adam? Gmail. All right. Well, let's roll it on from news. Now we get to talk all about rosin. So,
Parchment paper.
what do you mean? I thought we just got a whole thing
Yeah,
of
but that
parchment.
parchment paper is like shitty parchment paper. It doesn't work.
Well, there's some
It's
paper
for
towel over
baking,
there.
you know. So, I think someone went out to get some white parchment paper, so we may be able to show a couple squish videos once it gets up and we get some good parchment paper. But otherwise, we can definitely show.
So
what
tell
we
us
have around.
why you're here.
So we, as everybody knows, like a year ago, I started
Not
Extracted.
everyone knows. Start.
Most of the
Tell
people who
everyone the
listen
story.
to the show know. I started Extracted a year ago, so we started a rosin company a year ago. We just went recreational, and
Is that
about
plane flying over?
I don't know, it's like a jet of some sort. Yeah,
Let the kid do a
it's
show.
really loud though. It's really loud. No, it's
extra loud.
distracting. I'm glad someone said
loud,
something
extra
about it.
Distracted
So-
Colorado. So you started Distracted Colorado.
So no, we wanted to make some plates because I had to go through so many different sets of plates. That just didn't work. There was hot spots, or it would take 45 minutes for the plates to heat up.
Yeah, explain what some of the early problems that you had and what problems that caused in what the process.
So
Where's that? And get past me the hash pipe boy.
First off, when you're
Hash
working
is
with
good hash.
when you're working with smaller plates, like the first press I got from our buddy Medicine Farms was a great press, but they were small plates. You know, you can't.
Those ones were like this big, right?
Right, they're about 2.5 inches
This
diameter around. Yeah, pretty much like this smaller than the size of the bottom, of this
that
rig.
bottom, yeah.
They worked great, but it's too small. You can't process huge orders on that. I mean, we're getting orders for 10, 20 pounds of flour to be processed in 2 weeks. You can't do that on a press where you can only press 2 grams. So we wanted to make bigger plates
You're just
that
gonna add my Gmail to your computer so you
you
read
know,
all my
heat it
email?
up.
No.
actually a little bit faster than the e-nails.
Can't get in there once you're in there.
Let me know when you guys are done.
Sorry.
you guys done.
Sorry.
Whatever.
sorry.
Yeah.
Were you talking?
Okay,
That's fine.
so all right. So the first thing was the plates were too small.
Yeah.
And you couldn't process a
Yeah,
lot.
that was it. That's pretty much
The
it.
old too small to plate.
Story's
No,
over.
and
Story of your
then
life.
Couldn't do commercial orders.
Impossible to do commercial orders. And then, is there a fight going on outside right now?
there is a fight going on the
Seriously?
street behind us. Yeah.
And
No. It's a raucous good time. It's not a fight. They're laughing.
Yeah,
That's
it's
a raucous good time.
But anyway, so most of these rosin plates that were around at that time, about 8 months ago, were just powered with e-nail coils. And the e-nail coil has the thermocouple judging the heat temperature inside of the coil and not anything inside of the plate. So you used to have to set your plates
Super high.
Right, set your coils to 400, 500, 600 degrees just to be at 220. So we wanted to avoid that.
So wait.
It's
So
just
you
not
were
accurate.
saying that there was no connection between what the number on the box said
and how hot they really
the
were.
plate was.
After a while, there was, because you had a connection between 240 and 650, only because you connected those numbers together in your head that you realized.
Right, but
if
there
you-
was you
No.
couldn't trust the number on the
no,
box.
no,
Under no
absolutely
circumstances
not.
could
Nope,
you
none.
turn on the box and be like, oh, this is 600 degrees.
Yeah,
That's
no.
And what temperature do you want it at?
Anywhere between if you're pressing flour, anywhere between 2 and 250. I'm not going to be too specific. We press around between 220 and 240. give
Okay.
or take, usually, just depending on moisture of the flower.
Sounds like
and stuff
230 is
like
your
that.
money spot right
230
there.
230 is
He's
pretty
not gonna tell
solid.
you. He's going to give you the old.
230 is pretty solid. We
So
like
here's
230.
where I'm at on that. So, whatever, people are squishing. People don't know that the temperature's inconsistent. How long does it take people to realize that with those plates? The prior plates that you've seen out there.
So, for example, there was another company that we bought plates from, and their plates, I pretty much noticed right away.
How could you tell?
Because when you're doing a press, if your plates have hot
He's a
spots or
professional
cold
rosin
spots,
presser, dude. He's got
rosin comes out
weeks
different
of experience.
consistencies. Rosin comes out different consistencies with different temperatures. And if I have a hot spot or a cold spot, I would open up my parchment after pressing, and a fraction of it would be shatter, a fraction of it would be sugar wax,
Okay.
a fraction of it would be
You
wax.
just made 4 products in one press.
In one
Look at
press.
that.
But
Look at
that's
that.
no good when you're trying. That's no good unless you're, just
I
doing
know.
it for your house and you're okay to just smoke whatever comes out of it.
He's under
It's the same-
contract to make a product.
It's pretty
Yes.
much the same issues you have pressing anything from back in the day, hash wise. It was always how to evenly heat it up, because you'd always have a sweet spot in the middle on these presses, because you'd end up coming down on it. Because the funny part is none of us had heated things, but we all
Right.
heated our plates up, and then we would put the hash in there, and then we would hit it, squish it, and leave it for a while. Leave it for a long while, because that was the whole key. Was if you did it real quick, you always ended up with a sweet spot and a bunch of non-press stuff. But if you
Right.
just let that same thing sit at that same pressure, and then maybe a little bit more during it, came back, the whole thing would be black. You know what I mean? So
Nice and even. Yeah, that's what we need. You need even, especially when you're squishing 30, 35 grams at a time. I mean, our plates can do over an ounce per squish of flour, which means that you could fit damn near close to a quarter pound of ice wax or bubble hash into one of those squishes.
So let's go back to how these things used to be heated.
E-nails.
People basically just threw a normal enel coil,
Yep.
but like an enel coil is like a 1-inch diameter.
They would
right?
make flat coils.
Okay, but how big is that?
That's what I mean. So those enel coils, the biggest plates that they could power even remotely close to being evenly was like 3 by 4.
Oh, because that's the coil was small, right?
I mean,
So
the bigger
what-
the plates got, the more uneven it got.
Okay, so you had the problems were plates were too small,
Yep.
couldn't heat the whole plate evenly.
And then they made bigger plates, still couldn't heat the whole plate evenly.
Right.
So, we decided that we wanted to essentially put.
So you went to a actual engineer and said,
Yes.
"Yeah, figure out how to make this
Yeah.
bigger and
better.
better
And legal to be able to put into my warehouse.
Well, that's a whole other step.
a whole
right?
other story.
Just last night, I saw a rig made out of plywood.
A rosin press.
yes.
Yes, and they use 4 e-nail coils and controllers, trying to get a larger plate heated with the small coil.
which part was plywood?
The shipping container became its stand.
That was stand for like this metal part was plywood.
Yeah.
That's not.
No. It came in a shipping box, like a crate. You opened it up, and then the box was the enclosure for the electronics, and it held the metal frame above it. It was
Right.
the stand.
the stand that it sat on.
But the takeaway was 4 controllers, 4 e-nail coils to try to heat slightly larger plates.
Right. And none of those enel coils are, like we said,
Consistent also.
consistent or like our or UL listed. You can't
All right,
use
so,
it.
So let's talk about UL. Well, first of all, I'm looking at the box there. It looks pretty pro. The connections are
Box looks
all.
cool. I'll bring the camera over here real quick.
The connections are pretty sweet. It looks like it's electrically a step up from what you usually see, which is usually the first problem you have with e-nails or any sort of janky
Right.
stoner electrical equipment. So I assume that's where having a real engineer helps. So I imagine that's going to run better for longer. I noticed that there's a fancy, awesome green button. It would be better if it was a red button.
I can make red.
I bet you could.
I want a green.
I know you want a green because you're trying to show good, but red is an irresistible button to press in my mind, especially if you put stencil don't
if
press.
If it's red and you push it, it'll go off. That would be bad.
Red, just have it say don't press with red, and people push it all the time. Red and yellow stripes too.
It's gone.
All right. Anyway,
We just can't see it. We just can't find.
We don't
our,
have video preview right now?
The video preview, yeah. It's just it seemed to disappear.
nope.
No,
So,
that's this.
I imagine having better components. You're using custom components on this. I don't know. The reason I think this is interesting is you have UL listing being something that you guys are
Oh yeah.
concerned
Hugely
about.
important.
You're trying to do.
We've used all
So what does UL listing
listed
mean?
or recognized components.
What does that mean?
So, an industrial control panel assembly shop would only use listed components in there, and then they could.
And we said industrial control panel assembly shop. That
Some
would
of
be
the-
like if you were building a control box for like a car manufacturer or something, yeah?
It could be anything, yeah.
Anything
It could be
like that, yeah.
Manufacturers, it
You're building robot machines to do stuff.
Exactly. So these components make it easy for UL to come later and certify the whole product.
And explain why that's important. A UL product is not going to explode or burn your house down, basically.
Safety, right.
Shock you or anything
metal
like
parts
that.
are grounded, for example. The enclosure before we cut holes in it was listed for maybe water spray. It had a listing for the type of environment it was rated for.
I see.
So
it's a safer product. I imagine that has something to do with the longevity of the product as well. Like you're not going to have a short on the board that's safer for you, safer for the lifetime of the product too, right?
Right.
Correct.
Okay, so how are you heating these things if you're not using e-nail coils? You got some fancy cables
Toasters.
connected over here, and then
Took
fancy
apart
cables.
toasters, I think.
The camera here.
Toasters?
Excuse me
Yeah.
if this is bad camera angles. I'm just going to guesstimate because I can't see my.
Bad
Who knows
camera
it?
angles. Wait a minute. Who's the camera angle guy around here?
Well, I can't
Cool
see the
Award-winning-
preview.
Emmy
Adam.
award-winning camera
Oh, we
angles.
gave him the show, Adam. Come on.
Come on.
You guys are kind of embarrassing the trade of engineering here.
Yeah, I know. Well,
How's that?
The microphone noise, and
Oh my God.
now there's no video.
no, well, it's all right.
Oh,
That's
there
all
is
right.
video. I just can't see it.
Man.
Maybe we do have
should
to
take
update
your
the
shades
live
off.
stream one of these days.
Take shades off. Man.
I'm still not going to be
Anyway.
able to see it.
Man.
Man, okay, so explain
List of
what's different
components.
about these heaters.
Toaster technology.
There's two heaters. They're kind of centrally located within the plate, so they're
Are they not?
even.
Are they not e-nail heaters?
They're not e-nail heaters.
Are they
They're
titanium?
they're what's known as cartridge heaters.
Cartridge heaters.
So there's a heating element surrounded by an insulator. It's probably magnesium oxide,
Okay.
and then it's inside of a stainless steel tube. You buy this assembly, and the assembly can be UL listed also. That gets installed into the plate.
And that's rated for super. What's the temperature rating on that? For,
Oh, the heater is probably good for 1000 F
Okay,
or more.
so
I've
regular-
I never bothered to check.
Right, but you guys never really push it beyond.
No. In fact,
No more than
we have
300.
thermal limiter on the plate, so
Uh-huh.
if you somehow cut the plug off and wired your own plug on and plugged it into the wall, it wouldn't just run away and heat forever.
Which-
it would
yeah.
turn itself off.
Which, no, I mean, we're going to set that to 300 degrees because there's no need for rosin plates to be hotter than 300 degrees.
Sure.
Well,
So
there's also a non-adjustable, permanently installed device that will turn it off somewhere around 300 F.
which
Is that
no
part of
other
the UL
device has
safety?
right now.
Yep,
idea.
that's going to
Yep.
be required. To be honest, we probably won't go for UL listing. We'll go for ETL listing, Intertech.
Okay.
It's another independent laboratory that does the same thing.
Same-
But they're
same
going to
concept.
guarantee it's safe.
Yes. And that was,
You
you know,
can't buy their stickers.
that was the
from some
biggest
guy
thing.
named Rocco. or
Right.
something.
I mean, that's what I mean. I could go pay
You
a
could probably.
buddy $200 for a
What's
UL
going
listing
on?
sticker. I don't know. But yeah, so I mean, that was one of our biggest things was safety because we are starting in Colorado. We have licensed facilities where they need UL listed parts for everything. Not to mention the fact that everything in there has to be certified to not catch on fire, shock you, electrocute you, any of that
all the
stuff.
good stuff.
And it's not just that, you're trying to control some risk for the unknown. The fire sprinkler's going off and it's flooding the box. You touch the metal. Are you going to get shocked or is it grounded?
Sure.
Basic
And things that
electrical
can happen
requirements.
in our processing facility.
Right.
Yes.
These are things that can happen.
Oh yeah, the grow upstairs
Floods
is
happen
flooding
all the time. Yeah.
Yeah, you got conductive nutrients dripping down on it.
And then a lot of people were still using stainless steel, and that was a
For the
big
plates.
that was a big problem.
So explain why that. So you're using.
Aircraft aluminum. or-
Aircraft 6061 grade aluminum. Yeah. So it's it's a good heat conductor to the point where it's going to heat evenly. It's not going to
It
have
also cools
Stainless is
quickly,
not
too.
going to?
No, stainless is not a good heat conductive metal. It doesn't. It leaves hot spots in that stainless steel. It doesn't fully
Takes a long
absorb
time
it.
to cool down. Too.
And it takes a long time to cool down. You can turn these off for 15 minutes and pack them into a box and bring them somewhere else. Stainless steel, you're looking at an hour cool down time if you're up at 250 degrees. So we decided to go with solid 6061 aluminum too, not two small pieces held together with screws or because that's what a lot of the
No,
other
those are-
plate
those are
companies
like
do.
bricks.
That
They're
is
like
a
half
brick.
bricks
That is
each.
a 1.5 to almost 2 inch thick piece of 6061 aluminum, and it's 7 inches long, 3.5 inches wide. We didn't want to go for square plates. Square plates are no good for rosin pressing. So
Explain why the shape's better.
The shape is important.
yeah. So that when it comes to the shape, when you're looking at squishing, a large amount of product, when it comes to a small amount of product, it doesn't really matter because the plates are so small, everything's going to escape. But when you're looking at pressing 30 or so grams, if you're using a large square, you have to think about how the physics of the press is working. It is the oils are trying to escape the heat and run away from the press in the quickest way possible, the quickest way they're able to escape the heat. So if you have a big square, the stuff on the sides is going to get pressed out really quickly, but the stuff that's in the middle is going to take much longer to escape that bag. So you're either going to A, have to sacrifice yield and not burn your product, or B, you're going to have to burn your product to be able to get the yield you want to it, because it's going to take longer to get it out of the middle of the bag. Sure. If you go with a rectangle, the longer sides, so the shorter sides of the bag, they don't really produce much of the material. It's the long sides of the bag that do. So with a rectangle, everything has an even chance to squirt out very quickly so that you can keep your press under 45 seconds. You know, we press for about 30 to 45 seconds, depending, again, on product, moisture content, all of that stuff.
And you want a short press, obviously, because you want to expose it to the heat for a short period of time.
Right, and you don't want it, so when you're exposing it to the heat, everyone's complaining first about the burnt terpenes.
Yeah,
you don't
tastes
want
like popcorn.
Yeah, you don't want to burn your terpenes. Rosin is already a
I think
product.
that's where most of the problems in the beginning came, is people didn't
Yes.
realize that. And they,
Oh, parchment.
And that was...
Dude,
Oh,
this
thanks,
is
dude.
like the best guest of at
That
least
was
the
one
past
of the,
month. Because he brought weed, he brought
and
seeds, he
parchment.
brought T-shirts, he went and got parchment.
But that was one of the biggest things. People burning their product and it not tasting good. And rosin still, people are still trying to learn that since it's not a hydrocarbon extraction, it's not stripping off as much of the plant particulate and the undesirables. So you can already, just like full melt, you can smoke it at a lower temperature because it burns quicker. It vaporizes quicker, if you will, because there's not as much particulate and contaminant that the nail is also trying to, burn or vaporize. So when people are taking their e-nails at 750, or whatever for their BHO, we recommend that you set your temperature down 15 degrees already. So if you burn it, it's definitely ruined, because if you smoke it hot, good rosin hot, it still usually doesn't taste all that great because you're burning everything before you get the chance to, actually taste the terpenes. And then the other reason that we don't want to burn it is because you don't want activated THC. I want THC-A. I want the THC acetate, not THC delta 9. And when you're burning it, you're slowly decarbing it. Our extracts come back with either 0 THC delta 9 or up to about maybe 10% of the extract of the THC in
decarb.
it is THC delta 9 decarb. So you don't want that to happen. You want it to decarb when it hits the nail, because the second it decarbs, it's technically degraded, and you don't want it to degrade before you smoke it. So that's why we went with the rectangular style plates, and they're shaped like an Apple product. They're flat on one side, and
did you say they were shaped like?
they're shaped like an iPhone. They're shaped.
They are shaped like big fat
They're
iPhones.
milled like an
Soon,
iPhone, and they're
soon,
shaped like an
soon,
iPhone
soon.
because Apple,
too close.
Apple products catch people's eye. So we wanted to make something that not only was super, super safe and be allowed to be used in any of the labs in this
It's the
state.
same. It looks exactly the
And
same.
any other state that requires UL listing products in their labs, but we also wanted them to be super effective, decently affordable compared to some of the other similar prices out there. So these right now, we just dropped the first 10 sets on the website. The 10 sets we're letting go, just around cost at about $1,500 a set for fully UL listed components, and the two plates, universal RAM adapter, which we are in the makes of right now. We have this one hooked up with a pretty janky last minute RAM adapter, but
So say between on the bottom plate there.
Yep.
Could you make like a little shelf kind of thing so that when you squished, it had a place that it would actually run down to?
Like a channel?
Like a little, no, just like to hold the parchment paper.
Right, so yeah, a lot of people, what I actually do is my parchment extends out from the paper, and I literally just fold and crease the parchment, and then it catches everything. But what we want to do is essentially make a cold plate that fits around that stuff. So right as soon as the oil comes out, it's cooling. Right, so if we can make a tray that's going to come down in the front that your parchment rests on, that's a cold tray, and it press right there on the cold tray. So, but yeah, we do hang the parchment over and let the parchment, do the collection of the rosin, especially when you're doing, 30-gram presses yielding 20%. You're getting 8-9 grams per squish out of that press, so it just makes puddles in the bottom of the paper. You can't let it sit flat or it'll drip off the paper.
I noticed there's wires going to the top and bottom plate, so they're both heated.
They're both heated, unlike
Both heated,
some
both
of the
controlled.
other big name presses out there right now. You don't have to keep our plates together to keep your heat on. Both plates are heated and separately controlled. You don't have, if for whatever reason you want one plate at 100 and one plate at 300, you can do that. Yeah,
Really? That's cool.
you can do that.
How do you set it? I
so
see one green button.
I'll bring over the camera.
Now I want to ask Mike Solka. I'm not.
You can. I'll bring the camera
Those
and
little
you can-
things have buttons on them.
taped up there, bro.
Look,
Shit's taped.
he's bringing the camera over, Mike. So why do those say 2400? They're not at 2400 degrees.
240.0.
240.0.
2,407 degrees. You can't give them all the real information, bro. You have to give them all the
Yeah, this is good.
fake, janky info.
Yeah.
And we went with a clear box.
So now are
you
those
can
both
see
set to 240?
all of the innards.
I bumped one up.
You bought, so one is a little above 240 because it
240
looks like
and
one's a little
half,
higher.
Right around 239,
And 243 on the other one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're outside,
240.
so that
Right.
wind adds.
No, he
area
just said
and
it's a
temperature
240.
a
It's
lot.
240 on the nose.
I mean, they're on point. You don't have to guess. And if you
Set the other one at 240. Make the other one 240. I want to see how fast it happens.
It'll get there.
it's at 240 right now.
So
Okay.
this one I actually turned up. I didn't set it at 240.
Oh, you set it above 240. So set them both at 240. Let's see how fast it gets there. That's pretty cool. Easy to set. And then just the green button to turn it on. Once it's set, does it keep the settings, or you got to do that every time?
We're actually
It keeps the settings.
Keeps the
It
settings.
keeps setting. Oh yeah. So it's actually got 4 groups of settings.
So you can save like this is my A settings, my B settings, my C settings, my D settings.
Right. And the way it works is
Here, talk closer in the mic.
A setting is 175F. B setting is 200F. C setting is 225F. And the 4th setting, D, would be 250F. So it automatically picks which settings to use based on how close it is to the temperature you've chosen. So if you set it for 225, it's going to use the C settings,
Okay.
the 3rd set.
I got
If
you.
you set it for 250, it'll switch over and use the other settings because the plates lose more heat the hotter they are.
Explain that, because that's something that you don't hear people who are making rosin plates talk about.
Heat transfer. Sure. The heat transfer happens faster with a bigger temperature difference. So if I had glowing red plates behind me, they would take a lot more energy to hold at that temperature.
So they would want to cool off.
They are cooling faster through radiation and convection. And if I set them at the exact temperature of the air outside, it takes no energy to hold them there.
Right, they're going to stay there.
Right.
So
And we went with like he was kind of saying about the mic connectors, but we went with, I showed a video of it. I don't know if it's going to show up. It'll be on the delay, but we went with really, really cool connectors.
yeah, no, those are super cool.
So all of our connectors. So we left one set right now is unsheathed, so you can see
Unsheathed.
what unsheathed.
Yeah,
So you can
unsheathed
see. So
is
essentially, in there you have one blue power cable, and they work like mic cables. So they're nice, really quick.
They look
connect.
like nicer than Xbox cables.
They are. They definitely are. They're quick connect.
No, they're nice
quick connect
cables.
Like marine cables or something, or audio cables.
Exactly.
High-end audio.
They
Super
make
high-end
audio
audio
equipment as well. And you know our so the one that's unsheathed just shows the power that's going to the plate to cause it to heat, and then also the thermocouple that's going into the plate to judge the temperature. And you know, when you get them, obviously it'll be like this pink and black one. It'll all be wrapped up in one nice neat cord. So you only have 2 cords coming out of the box, 1 cord going into each plate. And we made a wire cover for those plates as well. A lot of people are leaving their wires exposed out of the back of their plates, that you can just see the open hole where the wires go into.
Right. That doesn't
Mike
seem
came up
safe.
with the idea. It's not. You know, he said we're going to have a wire cover for this.
And everything in the wire cover has to be rated for the operating temperature of 300. So you got high temp connectors, high temp cable.
So if everything gets hot, it's not going to break.
Not going to break, especially at the temperatures we're using it at. If you use the press and the plates to the recommended specifications, you shouldn't be going higher than 250 degrees. So none of that stuff should come anywhere close to burning or frying or breaking. And that's, again, why our press is a little, you know, it's going to cost a little bit more money. We're releasing the first 10 for about $1,500 at cost for set for the first 10 with everything, and then they'll bump up to about $2,200 after they're released. Closer to $2,500 if you want our custom frame with it as well. So we will have a tabletop frame, so you don't have to use a janky Harbor Freight frame. But you can go buy a janky $100 Harbor Freight frame and put our plates right on it and take it anywhere. That frame disassembles in 2 minutes, and you can wait for the plates to cool down. By the time you're done disassembling the frame, you can pack it all up and bring it to your trade show, bring it to your grandma's house, bring it wherever you want to press your dabs, you know. So
Can you make paninis on it?
can we make the what?
Paninis.
Mike, so
Paninis?
can you
Little
make a
ones.
panini on it? You can
You
make
can make little
paninis? Like
mini
club sandwich
mininis.
style?
If they're infused.
Maninis.
They have to be
Maninis
infused.
is what I like to call it.
Manini.
Yeah, a manini.
Can you cook things faster by adding pressure with the plates?
If they're infused
Yes.
products, then it'll work.
Only.
What? Come on, you can do regular
You could like take a piece of bologna,
Fried
and
eggs.
rosin press it.
Like
How,
ru-
he asked if you could. Someone asked if you could.
fried
eggs,
fried eggs
eggs.
at
On
12
your
tons.
Can you do that?
Yeah,
Can you fry an egg
squirt
under
out the
pressure?
side just like rosin. It'll dry on there. It'll be
I
a little
can't
more
tell when
messy.
you're joking and when you're being serious.
Who wants dried eggs anyway? That's
No, not dried eggs. Fried eggs. You can't cook. You can't make those hot enough to fry an egg on.
Don't fry it.
What good is it?
300?
What good is it if they can't make a panini?
You can make a panini.
All right.
I've seen people cook eggs on metal outside in the sun.
I've seen that too.
Razzini.
Oh, now he's gonna
I
make.
watched somebody cook chicken on a rock in that one.
Oh,
Vegas
someone asked
chicken
if-
movie.
rock-
Someone
chicken?
asked if the box comes with a pelican case.
Rock, paper,
That's a
chicken.
great question.
The box does not come with a pelican case.
What? Forget about it.
I mean,
You
however,
could. You could get a B&W for that.
we could, maybe that's a good idea. Maybe we'll sell some custom cut pelican cases that you can unhook everything and toss in there.
I almost put it in one to bring it today.
Yeah, but I mean, obviously, we can't just throw in a $500 pelican case for free with every set of plates. But we'll make them. That's what people want. We can definitely make a pelican case that fits them.
We have
Look
some
into it.
contacts with cases. We can
Yeah,
figure
we know
something.
some case people. Case in the joint over here. All right.
Worst
so
case
enough
scenario.
talking
Oh, the
about this.
kids get excited.
I want the kid to press rosin. I want Mike Stolka to talk because it's hysterical when he does.
And then we also
Explain
gotta
to us
get- we also
rosin.
have to shout
What's
out
you
someone.
explain rosin to me?
Somehow.
Rosin is squeezing the oil out of flowers.
There you go.
That's all I know about
It's a lot
it.
of work.
You know
No,
what?
no, no.
Rosin
Hard.
you put on your bow so you can play a string instrument.
So when you wanted to,
You put it on your rifle barrel so it doesn't slip in the barrel vise when you're rebuilding your firearms.
so when he said, "Can you help me make a rosin press?" How did you approach this
were like
project?
vi-
I went out to my garage and I got the control temperature box that I'd already had, and I put some metal plates and strapped some heaters to it with C-clamps and handed it to him and said, "Why don't you run this for a while?"
And then he
And I
gave
still
you.
use those every day to process.
He still uses them because
Every day.
He didn't give you any feedback. That was perfect.
I don't want to say bad
Nope.
things about him.
I said that's perfect. I said that's absolutely. This was
Smells
perfect.
good.
Yeah,
It smelled like good weed. What weed's that?
What are we
Where'd
what are
that
you
weed come from?
ruining right now?
He's a marijuana mutilator.
That's feminized autoflower weed. We're gonna have feminized autoflower rosin. This might be the first feminized autoflower rosin
FAFR.
On video, maybe.
on the internet.
On the interweb. Look at the kid. He's doing it. He doesn't even need a machine.
To fold paper.
No, to press it. He pressed it by hand.
No, that's called the pre-squish. This is the
Oh,
squish.
pre-squish, bro.
Now you'll notice this one's a little slower because he's doing it by hand. He has to work.
Man, you
Usually
gotta-
he's got a thing that's really loud. It goes.
It's the same technology. Same technology used to press nipples into incredible holders.
There you go.
That's what he
Pressing
uses.
nipples. You love it.
Oh.
You love pressing nipples.
And then it somehow turns into a dick. I don't
Yeah.
understand how that works. How does that work?
This is the guy who actually designed the shape.
Did he?
He
Good
designed
job,
it this
good
way to
job.
make it look less like a dick.
Was it more like a dick?
The original Incredible.
He got some jokes.
I'm sure. I mean, I still does in my opinion. I'm like, you haven't totally convinced me of that it's not a dick.
So how come? Oh, I see. You put squishing into the fold there.
Heat and pressure. More pressure, less heat, better product. That's my
That's my theory too.
executive summary.
How pissed are you when it all
I let him do it. He knows what he's doing.
How far can you How are you playing with it? How low can you get to the heat if you're going to do the test?
I haven't tested.
Oh,
I don't have
shit.
I don't have pounds and pounds of weed laying around like you guys
Just need
do.
ounces like these guys. Let's see. Can I see it? Can I see what it looks like? Is that feminized autoflower rosin? Let's taste it. It smells good. Doesn't smell like popcorn at all.
It smells good. I'm ready. Let's do it. Let's get the creator of
Ooh, gooey.
Mike eats it. Eat it. You have to eat it. You eat. Mike
Get
Salk
so
has
high
to
you
eat it.
that.
Yes, Mike Salk has to eat it.
Yeah, you get stupid high.
Eat it.
I needed some jelly or something.
No. I got cheese in the bag. I don't really have cheese. That would be a weird thing to have in the backpack.
Put hash on it.
Yeah. Here. Looks like jelly.
Well, it smells like Jack.
Smells like Jack.
Is that amnesia? Is that the amnesia?
Oh, it totally smells like Jack. Doesn't smell hot at all, though.
That smells like it.
So what is this? Look at the jar. Look at this jar. Sorry, Adam. 3 Bears OG. Okay.
that Karma brought us. Worked to our Triangle Kush Autoflower.
So it's 3 Bears OG to Triangle Kush Autoflower.
Got that smell, that Jackie smell.
Wow, it smells crazy in the jar. It's got you know what it has? It's that smell in the other bottle of terps in the jar.
No.
Yeah.
No.
That's attitude.
No.
Yes. You know exactly what I'm talking about, though, right?
I think so.
Smell it.
Yeah, maybe there's a slice of
There's a
it.
slice of it. It's not only that. We had a guest on the other day who did fractionally distilled terpenes, and he gave us a bottle of just the aldehydes, and it was a little bit of that smell, which I mean it's going to be in everything. But yeah, definitely the Jackie smell.
Straight. Which I told you my theory.
Did he?
What's
Too
your
many
theory?
combinations and it ends up as Jack. You can't help it. Like
That's if you put enough crosses in.
just
It's
like boop, boop, boop,
Did he
Jack.
literally build a fractional still, or did he just run one still
he's
at different
running
temperatures?
CO2.
He said fractionally distilled.
Well, maybe it's not fractionally distilled, but he fractionates. Sorry, he's
Oh,
fractionating with the CO2
okay.
machine. Did I say that wrong?
I don't know. I know what the refinery has a fractional still.
Okay.
It's easy for me to imagine, and probably not for you.
Couldn't even. I mean, I'm imagining it just because you're asking me to now, but it's probably not what it really looks like at all. It's got a lot of pipes.
It's definitely got a lot of pipes.
Some of them turn.
You might have noticed that at the refinery. They have pipes.
Yeah, no, I'm picturing just an oil refinery, which I've seen a lot of growing up in Jersey.
So it's a tall column with cups stacked in it vertically.
Can people do this for weed?
Or booze, maybe. So it's different temperatures in there, and like at one temperature, gasoline comes out.
Sure.
At the higher temperature, diesel comes out. That's a very oversimplified way of looking at it. At the
Right.
very top, the propane and butane comes out. They're gases. And so fractional
cracking?
That's
Is that-
fractional distillation.
No,
fraction.
it's not fraction.
No, cracking.
Cracking.
Cracking syngas or whatever? Is that?
Cracking is taking big molecules and making them smaller.
Ah, that's not what you
So you can reform them in the reformer to make things like gasoline. You want gasoline and diesel. That's what you want.
All right, so I want THC and things like that.
So yeah,
So
you need to
talk about.
That's
something
why I
that's
asked if the
applicable.
guy had a fractional still for these terpenes.
Okay.
Like this is interesting.
How would you extract terpenes, Mr. Salk?
I don't know. I have to think about that. I'm not a strong chemist.
All right, how would you make rosin better than this? Do you have a process better than this?
I would ask Ryan, which seems to be what has happened.
That's true. That's true. That does seem to be.
I
how you
have,
got it.
I have,
Honestly,
I
I don't
have
think
no
there's-
knowledge.
I don't think there's too many better ways. I think everyone's trying to go on this huge scale and get presses that are
It's very Breaking Bad, isn't it?
presses that are
Asking
just
him.
huge.
It's a technical question. Asking the kid, the engineer, asking the kid. about
He's Walter
rosin.
White?
Yeah, of course.
Well, yeah,
Obviously.
but because in Breaking Bad he had to learn about method first. Yeah. I got you. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I guess it is. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
that's
almost
totally
exactly
Breaking
the
Bad.
same.
Yeah, that's
actually.
very much
Actually,
the
it's exactly the same.
Breaking Bud.
But yeah, no, everyone's trying to go on this huge scale. You know, they want to get these big presses and these huge plates. Oh, I can squish a pound at a time per squish with these plates.
Yeah, but then what?
You're gonna burn everything. You're gonna burn everything, and it's a waste of time. Get 3 of these presses with our tabletop frames once they're done. Put 3 right next to each other. You can run 3 presses at a time. Plus, we're already working on a V2.0.
Can you eat
and a
hash and do it?
V3.0. Can you what?
Can you run it really stoned? Not safe, right?
Oh yeah. You can run it very.
Mike Salk
very
is going to tell me it's
safe
not safe to operate stoned, right?
It's pretty hard to hurt yourself with that.
Yeah, I mean,
Alright.
you have. It comes down so slow that you have to hold. Have you ever seen the scene in Austin Powers where the guy is in the cement flattener? You know what I mean, like the cement roller.
Yeah.
And he's driving at Austin Powers, and Austin Powers is driving at him, and the guy's like, "Stop!" And he's half a mile away from him in a cement roller going 2 miles an hour. That's what you'd have to do with the plates. You'd have to stand there, and hit the click button yourself, and watch the plates slowly come down on you. Like you'd have to want to squish your hand.
What would happen then?
You'd have no hand left. Your hand would explode.
Something would be. Would it
So
explode?
when
It
we
would
build
explode.
when we build the fully automated rig, you'll
Wait,
have
no,
to have
no, no,
both
no.
hands in the safety box.
That's not the question I'm asking. What would happen to a hand that you put in there?
It would get burned and it would get squished.
Now, what would happen as a result of that? Would it just be a squished, flat, burnt thing,
No,
or would
it-
it explode
it
and
would
come
probably-
apart?
It might
and
spray some
burst.
juice out.
Yeah.
It would spray juice, or would it cauterize it?
It's not that hot.
Can you do that?
Just blister and burn and
You'd end up looking like
It'd
a
be a
lobster.
mess.
You'd be like a lobster guy.
You have a big lobster hand.
flat lobster hand.
Fat lobster.
All right, now that we're all betting on it, who's going to put their hand in there and see what's going to happen?
I mean, let me just say, so coming down, what I do is
Here.
with our bags. So
You'd like scrape it all up. It's
We have,
very odd.
hit that hot ass nail.
It doesn't matter. It can't come off. You'll see. There it is. Fix
Boom,
it.
hot
By the
dab.
time-
I don't
Hot
care.
dab.
What the fuck?
But we have custom sized
It's
screens.
a hot tab.
Yeah, hot dab. That Mark Rose makes for us. He makes our rosin screens.
He
for
makes
us.
rosin screens or hot tabs?
He makes our rosin screens. And Mark Rose is the guy who manufactures the bubble bags for Bubble Man. So our rosin screens are top notch, and they're designed to fit perfectly in those presses and leave about a quarter of an inch on each side, so that when the bag comes down and expands a little bit, it still doesn't stick out past your plates. Because that's the biggest issue. Your bag comes out past your plates, and then you don't get to squish some of it. So
It stays on squish, sure.
the bags are really anti-blowout because they're not just
Anti-blowout.
So the blowout is when you come down too fast and your
It's a whole
hash or
new
your
thing- whole new
flower
category. It's like
shoots out the side of the bag, and then you just have a big, dirty rosin one. Instead of having it being clean and keeping your flower in the screen, you don't have to hand pick it out.
Right.
So most people are just using like mesh screens, nylon. So
What are
we're
you
using a
using?
nylon polyester mix. So the nylon
allows-
polyester mix adds a little bit more strength, but they're heat safe up to 500
I've
degrees.
seen a lot of people
They don't have to
doing
leach. They won't leach.
metal also.
Yeah, the
Metal
stainless
rosin
steel.
screens,
Yeah, the
interesting.
stainless steel rosin screens. The issue with the stainless steel is they blow out a little bit easier because steel doesn't need to rip; it just needs to push over. Like think of a screen.
Oh, it
You
just
can
needs
take
to
a screen
bend.
and kind of
It
just
needs to
move
bend,
the stuff
yeah.
over, and it'll get a big enough hole to stick your finger through. So that's an issue with the stainless steel. And then also, I've never tried rosin that was pressed with a stainless steel screen. However, I hear you can taste it. I hear you can taste the metal being pressed into the rosin while you're pressing it with whatever these janky screens are being used with.
Well, yeah, I
Who
bet you can
knows
make a good
what?
screen.
I'm not saying any
a
piece of
diamond
metal.
quartz.
Right.
Do
These
it.
people are using
Make
steel
it.
mesh, and who
Sapphire
knows what the hell's
rosin
in that steel
screens.
mesh from China, and it's just melting. Whatever's in there, you can taste it in
Machine
the final
oil or
extract.
something.
It tastes a little tinny.
That's
Machine
the problem.
oil?
With that,
Yeah.
yeah, probably that's the problem. Is
There's
that-
oil on the screen.
There's oil
Yeah.
on the screen, right? Machine oil.
There's
Yeah.
there's ways to
Clean it?
make the stainless, not put taste in food products.
Yeah, they make knives out of stainless and shit. And
Well,
pans
yeah,
and all kinds
pans.
of shit.
And in the medical industry, they often cook it in acid. It's called passivating.
Right. That's pretty crazy. Every time he says stuff, I'm just like, huh. Says something new every day. It's like completely off topic.
Passivated.
It's like I go over to
speaking of
take
passivating.
pictures.
All right,
and he
wait,
explains
here. Can you cook
parameters.
wheat in acid to break down the cell walls and get out the wheat? Can you to get out the THC?
What do you
Can't-
mean?
And it comes out pretty easy with heat and pressure.
Sure.
Where have you been?
Yeah. So you don't need acid. You just use
And
heat
you get pretty
pressure.
good yields too. to be
Depending
honest.
on the quality of the strain, we just got some stuff from Terpene last week, some Hell's OG, and we got 108 grams out of a pound. Yeah, so we got like a 23% return off that. We've hit stuff as high as 27, 28 from some good greenhouse grown glue, and we've hit as low as 11%.
That's the lowest you've ever hit.
9.
The lowest
Seven.
you've ever hit is
7.
9.
Not from
4.
flowers. Yeah, 9.
From flowers.
From flowers is 9.
Even from swag.
It was swag. Yeah, it was swag.
Nine.
Swag.
Was it
Yeah.
brown?
Yeah.
Pretty good.
It was brown.
It was dark and old and swag.
All dark
that's
swag.
right.
Our average yields, especially with these plates, when we found
Oh,
that.
did you notice a yield difference once you got switched to these plates? That's
Yes,
what I want
because you can press more at a time, and I'm finding that if you press more at a time, we want that resistance against the press.
think that
That's
did-
why trim doesn't come out well, because trim just flattens when
to know. So
you
you
try
want
to
it
press
to like be hard in
Yep.
there.
Because if it just flattens, it's not trying to force the oil out of it.
Right,
It's
it's
just
just
flat.
squishing,
It's just
right.
it's just comfortable where it is. So you want some resistance against it. So the fact that we can squish 30 grams at a time, I think helps increase our yield because there's more surface area, but it's staying in a more constricted space inside these screens.
So it's denser.
Yes, so it's really trying to push all the oils out and squeeze it as much as it can. So when you pull out a trim chip, the trim chip may be this thick, but if you're pressing flour, right, so it would be this
Gets
thick. The whole
thinner.
with like even in a screen, the
You notice
the
that when he
screen would be
says
this
any
small.
word that starts with SC, yeah.
screen,
Yeah.
screen,
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
even
no,
in the
say it that
screen,
way, 'cause it's-
it would be this thin. But if you're pressing flowers in a screen, it would remain, with a certain thickness. When you pull it out, it's still about a 1/4 inch thick.
Right.
So it's not completely flattening it, and that's why we
it's
found that
squishing
it
out
is
more,
helping
I
with
see.
the yields because we can put more weight in these bags.
Makes sense.
And it works better. Some people argue that. Some
Is there
people
a
say, I
sweet
get
spot
it.
on bag stuffing? Like if it's understuffed or overstuffed,
Yes.
it'll yield less?
Yeah. So if you understuff it and you have to leave too much room in the screen, so it depends on what you're doing with our screens. Our screens are made so you can stuff it and heat seal the top of it.
You can stuff
and
it.
you have a sealed bag. Now that heat sealed is only on the short side. However, when the press closes, the bags fold over that heat and just leak out the side there. So the heat seal doesn't prevent. Everyone says heat seal prevents yields. No, it doesn't. I'll do this. I'll do one without a heat seal and one with a heat seal. Same yield. It's because the bag. If you have one bag and the heat seal here, as it comes down, the bag folds over that heat seal. So everything that's trying to escapes out of the bag here, and it doesn't have to worry about the heat seal. So if you have bags that you can't heat seal and you have to fold them,
Yeah.
you're going to lose yield with less material because it's going to be eaten in that screen.
Sure.
So we fill our bags to the tippy top, crunched down in there as tight as you possibly can.
And just heat seal.
You don't want to leave any corners. You know, if you leave the corners unstuffed, any unstuffed space will eat your oil yield.
It becomes a
It's just gonna
sponge.
get caught
Yep,
in there.
exactly. So even if it's only a 0.2,
It's like gauze.
you're
right?
doing 10 pounds, a 0.2 over 10 pounds, that adds up.
Right.
So, you know, packing the screens is really, really particular. People like to grind their weed. I'll put in whole nugs and then kind of
that's
just work it.
the artisanal side of it all.
Yes, it is.
I'm an honest. Stuff bags.
It is.
Yes.
The stuff in the bags is important.
You don't want to know what? Artist has to mix paint. Painter has to mix paint.
Yeah,
True,
painter's got to
true.
mix paint.
Speaking of artists,
and I don't stuff the bags anymore. So,
Shout
yeah,
outs,
I
yeah.
guess that's
Do
true.
it. You're the artist. You're the art of shadows.
You stuffing bags? You don't do anything anymore. You're an
I
artist.
stuffed bags before
He's
you
an art-
were
he's an
even
artist
born,
shout-out.
boy. I was stuffing bags.
But yeah, I mean, we're really
Solid.
happy with the way they came
Do the
out.
artist
And
shout-outs. Do it.
Artisanal shout-outs.
Yes, we'll do artisanal.
Kids got to help us
shout-outs.
out too, because he's gonna get jump on the thing. and be
Way
like,
to grow.
I gotta
do the-
I gotta
da,
actually
da.
pull it up. It hasn't happened in like 5 weeks.
All right, you want to finish? Well,
Wow.
he wants to finish the segment first.
Yeah,
We'll
I want
the
to
segment
finish.
first.
Let's wrap it up.
Man,
We can do wrap it up.
Let's wrap it
So
up.
anyway,
Okay,
standard
I have a question
plates.
though. I've noticed that when you collect rosin, in general,
Oh,
most
God.
around Dark Horse, around here,
favorite part about rosin.
What?
you
collecting it all.
don't scrape it, right? Why don't you scrape it?
What do you mean I don't scrape it?
You like
So
pull
you
and
have
tack
to
it.
do the little pull and snap tap method at first, but then if you're so the way we collect it, some people will collect all their parchment and make a slab. I don't do that. It agitates it too much. I'll take.
But why
if I
can't
have-
you just scrape it?
Because it doesn't. You can't scrape it at first. It's too small for you to be able to try.
I was
and
just trying to
scrape
get
it.
him to say scrape because it was the next
Scrape.
Scrape.
Scrabble.
I'm gonna come up with another one too.
You know, whatever.
He said
But-
scrapple the
I
other
was
day.
gonna say, you're
That's
trying
when
to
I
ask me a
realized he
question
doesn't.
that like doesn't make any sense.
Nope,
the way
I'm just
you're
trying to
asking
get you to
it.
say the word
I'm
scrape.
trying to answer this question, but
Yep.
the question doesn't make sense.
Nope.
You can scrape it to collect to answer your stupid question, but you can only do that after there's already some on your dabber, because otherwise, you know, it's a pain in the ass. The collection is the worst part. So good luck learning your collection techniques. Because it
look at that.
sucks.
Learning
I
your
would. Well, no, I mean it's
collection
just
techniques. The
it
learning
sucks.
curve's
I haven't
so
even
high.
learned one. Like I said, I don't do it. I just collect off of each individual parchment. If I press a pound and it takes 15 screens that press that pound, I gram out off of the individual parchment that it was pressed on, because I'm not going to collect it all and then gram it out again. You're not only agitating it.
So you don't want to handle it a lot.
You don't want to handle it that much. Rosin is very sensitive, and it will wax up on you real quick. So the less handling, the better. So yeah, we don't even collect anything less than or more than off of one piece of parchment, which is usually only about 5 to 6 grams if you're pressing about 30 grams. 6 grams if you're pressing 30 grams to be exact. So
It's a good yield.
yeah, it's solid yield. That's a 20% yield right there. We try to do all of our numbers off 20%, because if we get
Can
20%,
you yield more?
Oh yeah.
No,
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Like I
can
said,
you, sorry,
just,
I meant to ask. Can you squish more?
in that bag.
No, can you squish more right now?
Oh yeah.
Can you make
yeah.
more rosin for us to dab?
There's some right
'Cause
here.
What kind is that? Is it different kind or same kind? I don't want
It's
the same
different kind. This
Different
is his Skywalker.
Skywalker. You didn't say Skywalker.
Skywalker.
I was going to ask you what kind of music the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones are.
Gosh.
Scott.
I'm gonna try some of this Asian.
And the boss in the office, Michael Scott. You got a reg, Dunsky?
Yeah, that's poopy. This is unsnappable.
Yeah, there's some poopy around here.
That's good.
Torch me, bud?
So,
Torch me too hot?
Torch me too hot.
Before I get up and squish more, we can just end
Squish.
it out real quick, I guess. So,
Where can they find these
Where
incredible
can-
right
plates
now
of-
you can go to
beautifulness?
just to make it easy, because the website's pretty long, so you're not gonna want to write it down. It's collegiate-cannabis-clothing.myshopify.com.
No. Shut the hell
Not
up.
even
This
10
is why
hours
I
of being
told you
functional
this
though.
morning.
Shopify already closed down my payment intake. I had to set up an entire new payment intake
That's-
today because of cannabis products. Bullshit. But anyway, the link, if you go to our Instagram is Extracted Colorado. The link in our bio is the link to the website. If you go to the at New Standards plate page on Instagram as well.
New
the link is
standard plates or
New
new
Standard
standards?
plates.
Died.
New
the
Standard
S?
plates.
New standards plate or new standard
New Standard plates.
New standard plates.
On Instagram as well. The bio is in there. You can click on the website in that, and that will take you right to the website. We list our plates. The first 10 sets, there's 8 of them left, so get them before they go. There's also custom screens in there, like we said, that'll fit our bags perfectly. Right now, we only have 120 micron in stock, so that's for flower and full spectrum hash. Don't try to put your 90 micron hash through a 120 micron screen, because it's not going to come out well. But yeah, first 10 sets, they're going for $1,500 a piece. For fully UL listed components, 7 by 3.5 inch plates. And you can pick them up on our Instagram, on the New Standards Instagram, and at collegiate-cannabis-clothing.myshopify.com.
What was that again?
collegiate-cannabis.clothing-my-something.com.
There you go.
That's too fast. Collegiate-cannabis-clothing.myshopify.com.
Can you give a set away to someone who can say that whole thing
10
in
times,
less
10
than
times.
half a second?
10 times
Absolutely
real
not.
fast. 10 times. In a row.
Okay,
I
shout
would give the
outs.
shed away to someone who has $1,500.
Shout-outs.
Okay, we're going to say first shout out to our internet sponsors for this episode.
Internet sponsors.
Chakra Tattoo.
Last time it was dope, so it just shows you how
Chakra
how cheap we
Tattoo,
are.
609 22nd Street here in Denver. 720-508-3924. Ask for Matt Garcia. But there's other people's names on here. Should they talk to those people or only talk to Matt?
Those are the other artists, right?
Yeah, so there's Maze Garcia. Ask for Matt Garcia. Jules Corey's there. 720-508-3924. Chakra Tattoo. They're our neighbors, and they're hooking us up with the internet so we can do this for you guys.
But by next week, we will be independent. With our
Independently interneted.
own, right?
We're finally legally moved into here. It's not
Sort
just
of. We're pretending it's not. Though.
we were working without a. How important is a certificate of occupancy, Mike Solka?
The authority having jurisdiction will come after you.
Yeah, no, that's not true.
Yeah,
We ran an art gallery.
It
here
takes
for like
some time.
2.5 months.
It takes some time. How bad was it? I mean, did you have
Okay.
wires hanging out of the walls? Did
No,
you
we just didn't have one yet.
illegal plumbing?
No,
No,
everything
it was
worked.
good. It all done right. They just didn't inspect yet.
Oh, who didn't inspect?
Whoever
City-
inspects
the
those
city.
things.
The city inspects during the construction.
They came through, but they didn't do the final inspection.
Oh, they got to do their final, then you get your CO and you're done.
Yeah,
Yeah, well, it's okay. We got it now, so
we
we're
just wanted
safe.
to be open earlier. You know, we couldn't help it.
We decided to open early.
As retail, yeah, you kind of need a little more.
Well,
you know,
we did it.
We did it. Done.
Thumb in the man's eye.
They're not gonna kick you out in the street if you're living there, you know.
No.
But they should come do their final.
Bastards. You sound way official,
Yeah, right.
doesn't he?
You should see him with a metal clipboard
Oh my
and
God.
cop sunglasses.
If he stood out in front of
This is
the
my
place
business partner. Like I've seen so many
If he
situations.
stood out in front of here with a clipboard, we'd be in trouble. We'd be like,
Right? You feel like, oh my
Oh,
god, I'm about to get
no.
a ticket for
Brought a
some
cordless today.
cordless clipboard.
Cordless drill.
So he calls a cordless drill cordless. Cordless. What does cordless mean to you?
Yeah, not drill.
Not a drill, right?
anymore.
Phone maybe, like an old phone.
Yeah, phone, old.
You got a phone from the '90s. Cordless. That's good.
You still got wired phones around here?
No, we don't have a phone. We have cellular phones. All right, shout outs. We did that one.
Let's do it.
Way to grow.
Big shout out to Way to Grow. Making things happen.
Then let's
here
get to
in
breeding
Colorado
because we're
for
gonna. Oh, do we have Skype on? Oh, we'll find out after this. Squish.
11 years now, going on the 12th
11 years, really?
12th year now, yeah.
Holy moly, they've been
Holy-
around forever.
Holy guacamole. You can even grow avocados. I guess you could grow avocados, but they had everything.
Grow avocados?
Grow avocados.
What's
So
a
I'm
grow?
saying,
You could grow avocados with stuff from Way to Grow.
You could.
Yes.
I always wanted to grow an avocado tree.
Me too, because you take the toothpicks and you put it on the seed and you hold it over
never
the
goes
water.
past that point, though. That's the only
Have you
problem.
gotten that far?
But if you go to Way to Grow, you could definitely get past that point.
Yes.
And you could probably
100%.
get everything you would ever need.
I believe that if you do that, that tree doesn't have avocados on it.
Eventually it will.
You
yeah.
have to cut it down or cut it off and graft on flowers and buds from an avocado tree that made avocados.
Are you kidding me?
Now, I
Is
grew
that
up
real?
in Southern California.
Sounds way crazy.
If you just grow
You
an
could probably
avocado
get
tree,
all
it'll
that
never
stuff
have
at Way to
fruit.
Grow, though. You can get all at Way to Grow.
And you can probably find out on their website how to grow an avocado.
Yeah.
If you try.
I would go there. Waytogrow.net.
And if you go to
Any of the stores.
any of the stores, use the Adam Dunn Show code as your.
Say Adam Dunn Show. They won't charge you more than they would otherwise. I can guarantee that
It
won't
will
happen.
not add.
It won't raise the price on
It
you.
will not raise the price.
You will get
That's
a
nice
There's
of
a
them.
good chance it'll lower the price.
You'll get a discount. If you're some big wig, you'll probably get a better discount because that's how it goes. You know, you're like, whoa, I don't need your code.
Look how
But-
big my wig is.
But if you're,
If
starting
you're,
off
if you're a
or-
humble ADS listener,
exactly, you want a little special treatment.
Adam Dunn Show, get hooked up.
And if you hook up, if you get down to the
Colorado Springs, you look for IROC,
boom, you'll
whose
get-
dad is a falconer.
You'll have an
Did
extra,
you catch that? That's cool, right?
extra special treatment.
He's like a renowned falconer. He's the Adam Dunn Show. Adam Dunn of Falcons.
Did he like turn the falcon loose on you?
No. He
Did
said
you see it?
if I show up on time,
She
I
gets
might
Simon.
get a
She
chance.
gets
to see him.
Simon from Sirius.
He also falcons,
He's a
right?
falconer, yeah.
Do you think they could have a falcon weed battle?
Probably somehow.
Yeah,
Teach the birds to go harvest?
that's what I was thinking. Harvest
Biggest top. They come
or
back with the biggest top.
hunt down like lost weed. They find lost weed and bring it back.
I like hunting the weed better.
Hunting the live weed.
Yeah.
And you gotta bring it.
They bring it. You're like, who's better?
Who
We
got
know
the
it.
better weed? Yeah. That's good.
Birds
That's
must have a
good.
good eye.
IROC, I know he's listening.
Yeah.
Talk to Pops about this.
Get him on it. Start training him. And on the way out, of course, if you're like the kid, you're going to grab a bunch of candy. 'cause
Yes, from Way to Grow.
You know where has the best candy still?
Where
Flat
has
River.
it?
Flat River, man, they
Flat
got.
River only has fucking Tootsie Rolls.
That's
What
all
the
it
hell?
is. Tootsie Rolls.
Now
That's all I had.
they put in the fruity Tootsie Rolls. I like the flavored Tootsie
You're the
Rolls.
motherfucker taking all the fruities. When I go
Yeah,
there,
fruities.
it's all.
Four
I take like
Tootsie
4 or
Rolls
5
when I went
fruities.
Oh, I take at
And I
least
take
7.
No,
a
but there
Tootsie
was
Pop.
only 4 or 5.
They have Tootsie Pops
I
there.
had Nick
now.
there. You took candy out of my kid's mouth. How do you feel about that?
What's
It was good candy, so I feel pretty solid.
What's your personal candy policy? Like, how much candy did you take per $100 spent in the store?
See, I'm pretty.
I'm asking each person around
I
the
only
table.
take like 2 or 3 pieces.
2 or 3,
Yeah.
no matter what.
3 pieces max.
See, I feel like the more you spend, the more you can take.
What's the matter? It's
I
how long
agree.
you're
If
standing
I'm waiting there for
2
15
to
minutes,
3
checking
pieces.
out,
2
I'm
to
gonna
3
eat the whole
pieces.
time.
2 to 3 pieces per $100.
This is the new.
I go
norm.
more like 2 to 3 pieces per like 5 minutes that you're in there.
Okay, you're doing it
Like
by
if
time.
I'm waiting there, I'm eating 2 pieces and I grab a piece for the road. So that's 3 pieces.
Always pieces for the road.
Right.
That's for sure.
And then
Free for
everyone
the
gets
ro-
mad
free
like,
for
you didn't
the
get me any
road."
pieces for the road.
And I've decided not to be a dick and put my empty wrappers back in there, which we just
No,
all
they have
agree.
they have an empty wrapper bowl
They
now.
added one because of you, I know. And so that's good. Good etiquette there.
So
Uh,
he's making a point by eating as much candy as he can while he waits.
Yeah.
Speaking of which,
Incredibles edibles. If you
Not
tried to
candy,
eat as
they're
much
edibles.
of that edible as you while you ate
when are we
it,
doing the
you'd be
5280
waiting a long
episode,
time.
kid?
5280 challenge. He's going to eat 5,280 milligrams of THC. What do you
One
think would
city.
happen there?
Who's going to?
Hey, tell the story when I showed up at your house way too high on edibles.
I think my dog became your best friend.
Your couch became my best
Was
friend.
it that
As
time?
much as Brad was best friends with his dog.
I don't know.
No, Mitch literally called me and said, "I'm too high."
Yeah.
Oh, the
I thought
too
that
high
wasn't
call.
possible.
The too high
I
call?
was near his house and I just puked in a bathroom from being too high from edibles.
Wow, you get to the too high, have to call a friend thing?
I mean, I couldn't drive. Yeah, you've been there. We've all been there from edibles.
Never. No,
Yes.
I didn't call anybody, though.
You just showed
I
up.
just crawled. Right?
You
Yeah,
just
no, I never just crawled in the corner. I remember one time laying under a tree out in front of my friend's house. I just went under the tree. It was wintertime, and I kind of like fell asleep, and I was all like woke up, and I was like, "Where the fuck am I?" And I was like, "Oh, under a tree."
I had that, but not in his yard, inside the
and everyone was
house.
looking
He
for me
came
because I
inside.
saw my car. They knew I didn't leave. I just walked out of the house all high, and then I went under a
Oh,
tree.
right where you were at. You
Yeah.
walked outside. And
Went outside, went under a tree, and then lay there.
In the
Fell
winter.
asleep. Yeah, in the winter, and fell asleep.
In
And I-
Amsterdam or here?
No, way back in fucking like when I was 17.
Rhode Island?
Yeah, like making my own edibles first time.
Sure.
Way too strong.
So that's kind of what happened to me, and that's not what's going to happen to you with you have Incredibles.
No,
and as long
'cause
as you
they're-
follow the
or
handily
They
marked
actually have
doses.
Yeah.
It's squares. That's what's good. Chocolate squares, and then the numbers right on there: 25, 50.
Flavors on top of flavors.
Flavors on flavors on flavors.
can't-
I love the black cherry CBD. I think the white chocolate pistachio. I wish they added sea salt to it. I think that would knock it up a little notch. So maybe I'm just throwing that out
suggestion.
there. Right, sea salt in that one.
Yeah.
And of course, Fireberry goes without saying.
Fireberry are all of our favorites.
I'd like to see a green tea bar, by the way, if we're just stating what we're interested in.
Sure. Listen
Right,
to
a
that
green
one.
tea?
Green tea bar would be good.
With plum, dried plum, freeze-dried plum. Ooh,
Oh.
what's
and some ants.
happening here?
And some ants. Throw some ants.
No,
juice.
the ants are a separate bar. Peanut butter ant bar.
Peanut butter ant bar?
Peanut butter ant bar.
I don't know if we can get people on the ant bar.
Sure.
Yeah?
No. No. You're going to take it, right?
Sure.
Bike's going to do it.
I'll do it.
Yes?
It's only insects. No big deal.
Yeah, so you can eat insects. Deer antler, you can't do.
No.
No deer antler, huh?
I don't like things that scream. You
Nothing
know?
that screams.
Fish don't scream, so I'll eat a fish, you know. But like even a chipmunk.
Trees scream,
Even
though.
a chipmunk would be too much for me. They scream.
Trees scream, though.
Not that I can hear.
Oh,
It's
fair.
not in my audible range.
Okay. Well, Incredibles edibles. Check them out at iloveincredibles.com. Also, big shout out to Build the Soil. I talked to Jeremy on the phone today.
Yes.
Thankfully, I messaged with him, talked to him on the phone. This is the big announcement. September 2nd, right here, the Rumble in the whatever.
Are they going to be
Yard.
live, both of them here?
I don't know if either of them's really going to be here, but
Yeah.
on this channel,
All right.
time to be determined. We're settling it once and for all. We're settling soil versus hydro. We're finally going to do it. We're getting Dr. Paul Acosta from Grow Stones, another one of our sponsors that we'll bring up in a second here, and Jeremy Silva from Build the Soil. And we're going to have a good old-fashioned science debate, rumble, what we call a rumble around these parts, growing science debate. So that one will be September 2nd. Jeremy will be here from Build the Soil. He'll probably have some special thing prepared with
Boxing
a
gloves,
code
he's
and a
gonna have
video
gloves.
or
He's gonna
something.
bring gloves.
Maybe. And then we'll have Paula here from Grow Stone. So we'll use that to segue to Grow Stones. Shailene, Shailene, hold. Shailene. Grow stones.
What up?
Grow stones.
All right, mosey on over here. What up?
What's up?
What's up? We're talking about grow stones. I was going to let you do the thing.
Oh.
Do you want? You don't want to?
Well, I mean, I'm unprepared, but yeah.
Yeah, that's why. That's the point of having a live show to catch people
I'm
unprepared.
honest. I'm being honest.
That's
but
we are too.
Yeah.
Okay, so grow stones. What's your favorite part about grow stones?
To be honest.
Yes, you're being honest.
Well, it's really our mantra. It's as a grower, and we have the biggest carbon footprint in the world of one industry, really. I love the fact that it's renewable source. It's 100% recycled glass bottles. I love how many different industries we're in. We're also TSA approved for short crash bed sites.
That's Mike Solka thing. He works on runways.
Oh, really? We're
airports.
doing O'Hare and Midway right now.
What are you doing? What are you doing there?
Our product is I don't have it in front of me, but it looks like a pumice stone or a volcanic rock. It's expanded, but it has a very strong capacity for hitting weight. So if you have a short runway, you have to have a crash bed and something at the end. Yes.
Okay.
So this is how China lost, though. Is that
Wait, China lost?
Oh yeah, China lost.
What did China lose?
Oh, this is my favorite part. I love this part.
What we ruse?
Don't do the voice.
No rusing.
No, is that it had to be a renewable source, so glass bottles, recycle, and it had to be made in the USA.
Well, China obviously can't handle that. They're not very good
Oh
in
no.
the USA.
So, I mean, it's just, there's a lot of good things about grow stones. I could talk about it, and I'm not going to take up everyone's time, but everyone should check out the website. Again, hit me up, Shay, SHAY, at growstone.com.
We just had someone pick up free
anything.
samples
I've
here
already
for the
gotten like
show.
5 emails from the show last week. So
Yeah, and you're giving away free
much
stuff,
love.
right?
Oh yeah.
More free stuff.
I already met somebody here for like
That's
8
what I'm saying.
bags of
Right
grow
before we
stones.
did this.
Yeah.
Get free stuff.
Come down
Email
to
Shay
Soho.
Grow Stone.
Slang and rock.
Yeah. You know.
Slang and rocks. I like that. Slang and rocks.
I'm always slanging stones. It's slanging
Slang and stones.
It's grow stone.
Doesn't sound like you're selling crack.
Well, it kind of stones are called crack, or crack is called
No,
stones.
crack is called
No,
rock.
rock.
That's
Rock.
why we said slang
No
and
one ever
rock.
called it stones.
Well, I'm not going to argue with you
Unless
guys.
they're really
Yeah.
I don't-
professional crackers.
Wait, I have a question.
Yes,
if
Mitch.
the whole Grow Stones team does ecstasy together, is that Rolling Stones?
Oh my gosh, that's a good question.
There you go.
Ooh.
Red Rocks tonight. There you
Yes.
go. You guys gonna make it happen?
Except they've been vulcanized, right?
And that's why we didn't.
They're
go,
expensive,
that's
so they're
why
not really going to roll.
it's been pointed out to
Right.
me that we'd be dead pretty much instantaneously in China, not only because of the puns, but because of the bad Chinese accent.
I didn't do an accent.
No, he did.
I do it all the time. Can't help
He
it.
That
just
wasn't a
did
very
it.
I
good
can't
one,
help it.
Dunn.
It's like
Come
when you
on.
order Chinese food, you start talking to
No, you don't do it when you
Yeah,
do
as
it
you
before
order.
you dial the phone.
And you just start going.
You do it in the
can't
background.
help it. No, yeah. You just,
Do you prank call people?
No.
We do it on the show. What are you talking
Kid
about?
Does. I don't.
Oh,
You want to prank call someone?
no, not really.
Okay.
Kid, you
Let's
wanna
be
prank call somebody?
positive.
Okay. All right, let's do shout outs to.
So, anyways, wait. More of the
Wait,
story,
don't
though.
forget the shout-outs.
Hold on. Timeout. Hashtag
Time
timeout.
out.
Did you
Hashtag.
guys
Hashtag
do?
shout out. Wait, hashtag timeout. What the heck?
Did you guys do a Chala to Way to Grow yet?
Yeah, we did Way to Grow.
Okay.
Done.
Well, go see Red. Go see Tyson.
Way
Seriously.
to
Go
Grow.
see IROC. But like, get your grow stones there.
Oh,
Oh,
on top of all
okay.
the other
Tie
stuff.
it
You
up,
know,
tie it all together.
I got it tied in because I got their back, and they're an awesome company. And go check them out. They're really solid guys. They know what they're talking about.
Yes,
and
we did them.
well, I'm just saying, go get your stones.
Go get
Holla.
stoned.
Thank
Go
you.
get stoned at Way to Grow.
out.
Much love.
Don't,
one love.
but don't smoke weed in the Way to Grow parking lot. Go get grow stones.
Yeah, don't
there.
do that.
No,
No.
don't. When I say go get stoned at Way to Grow, I mean go buy grow stones there. I do not mean smoke pot in their parking lot.
Exactly. And big shout out to that research.
Do you want to say hydroponic research, or you want to say Dark Horse? It's up to you.
Oh shit, we got to do Dark
Oh,
Horse.
shit.
Oh man, those
Oh,
guys.
fuck.
Those guys.
Dark Horse seeds are out.
Dark Horse seeds.
People are telling us these are the first
Seeds out.
metric legal seeds available for retail in fucking Colorado. I'm psyched on that, dude.
How is that not? What happened with the clinic? What do they do?
They don't sell to other places.
Oh, they just sell out of their one shop.
Yeah, they sell. So this is stuff that you can go to Harvest House in Netherlands right now. He picked up the full line. He got at least 8 packs of everything.
That's great.
You can go down in the Springs. We dropped out in Rifle. There's seed everywhere. It's real seed, good seed.
That's the deal, and that's the thing I was saying earlier. Until you can get them into the stores, it's really hard to like even think about starting to do seeds here because out of
There was
one
no
store.
point till now.
Yeah, one store, or even if you had 6 or 7 stores.
I mean, they
that's not
just
enough.
like 2 weeks ago figured out the tax thing on them. Till then, they didn't have the taxes figured out, so it wasn't
$2.85 per seed is the tax bracket, isn't
33 cents a seed.
it? 33
Yeah, they charge at $2.85 per
So
seed,
say retail, so they're
but it's 33 cents a seed is the tax.
Gotcha.
We're paying. I like
Can you get that back if it doesn't grow?
no, but we're selling seeds and paying taxes on it. That's never happened. This is like at first. It seems whatever. We've been selling weed and paying taxes on it for a while.
Yeah.
But it's momentous to me, in the spirit of the Adam Dunn Show especially, that Dark Horse is here fucking
Making it happen.
making it happen, slanging legal seeds. So I'm psyched on that.
That's good.
That's part of my week here. You asked me how my week was earlier.
Yeah.
It's really coming up here. Anyway, sorry.
Not
that
only
was a Dark Horse shout out. Find out more, darkhorsegenetics.com. Plenty more coming soon, including TH Seeds.
Right.
Very excited about that
Next
too.
round, I think, right?
We got some secret collabo dabos. I didn't realize they're not in stores yet.
Yeah.
But they exist.
Nice.
There's like a hog cross.
Yeah. Banner hog or something.
Yeah.
Oh.
Which I don't know what you want to call that.
Sweet.
I want to call it Bebop because that's the guy from the Ninja Turtles. That's like kind of like the Hulk, but also a warthog. We'll call it Warthog.
Oh, warthog's
It's
good.
good. Warthog's good.
Yeah.
We'll work on this later.
Isn't that up to the breeder, or is that you?
Well, it's him and Jason. So
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I picked Jason's strain name, so that's how it works. All right, and shout out, of course, to our buddies at Hydroponic Research, makers of Vegibloom. Oh,
What's
Harvest House in Netherlands, the guys I just dropped off all the seeds to. Stacy's Whole Garden Vegibloom.
Yeah.
Gorgeous.
Crushing it. Nice.
Gorgeous. And have you seen Joe's Garden? Well, you have.
Yeah,
I know
I've
you
been watching
commented.
it. Is that what, day 32 now?
Kill you getting the daily updates.
I get the daily updates.
He posts more pictures of his garden than I did of my child.
Yeah, for sure. I'm like, well, I know the dates. I know it's 32 now. So that's
I
how-
can count. Yesterday was 2 days ago was 30.
Well, he's got like 5 updates a day. So
Yeah, that's true.
it's easy to follow. But yeah, hydroponic research.
Hydroponic-research.com.
I'm using it on my outdoor stuff right now too.
Oh, outdoors. Interesting.
Yeah.
Didn't even think of that.
Yeah.
Great results?
So far, I mean,
Yeah.
we're not. They're just transitioning right now.
Sure.
so. And also, don't forget.
Well, I'm building up to it. He's right here. He's waiting. He's right here right now.
No,
Seed's here now.
he's right.
Seed's here
right
now.
Seed's
Right? He's here now.
Seed's here
He's here now. He's here now. Seed's here now. He's here now. Seed's here now. Who actually brought us today's episode,
Yep.
Mephisto Genetics. I read the Mephisto block on the Seeds Here Now show, and then his partner from Spain hit me
Yes.
up on, I want to say, Instagram,
Okay.
and was like, wow, well, thanks for shouting us out. And then I was like, wow, that was really easy. I guess the people do listen to the show. So
That's awesome. And also, Seeds Here Now what brought me out to Portland. So that
what
was-
what brought you out to Portland?
No, he brought me out.
He
to
brought you
Portland.
out
He
to
brought me
Portland.
out
Seeds
there.
Here Now.
Seeds Here
Seeds
Now.
Portland. Seeds there now.
And next month in Alaska, we're gonna have a big.
Oh, he's the organizer of Alaska.
and that's gonna be interesting.
He loves
We're
Alaska.
gonna be doing shows from
I guess if you got to go to Alaska, August is when you go. You're going August or you're going September? Because it's
September.
August now. Oh, that's
September.
probably, I think a little past the time for Alaska.
Perfect time.
I think August. No,
Perfect time.
I've never been to
It's
Alaska.
all good.
Yeah, we're not bad.
September is when you notice
Yet.
the days getting shorter at night.
It's switching.
Really?
It's
Yeah.
switching.
You-
Like
so you
10 or 15 minutes per day.
Of
like
what?
If you're there a week,
Yeah.
hours difference in the
between the time it got dark.
Wow,
Yeah.
that'd be cool.
You been to Alaska a lot?
at least once.
At least once.
Maybe
Was it in
twice.
September?
I was there in September.
Uh-huh.
August and September.
All right, let's bring up our next guest.
Let's bring him on.
Because I told the call, hey Ryan, is Skype running? You sure? Because I told those guys to call in way long ago and they never did.
never checked anything like that.
open right now.
Okay. All right. My phone's dead, so I can't tell them to call in. Is the problem?
You want a phone?
Well, you don't have my Facebook account on your phone, so that's not going to happen.
That would be bad.
Nope. Here's what I'm going to do. Mr. Vinny, can you go plug this thing in? You don't remember where that charger is? Cool. We'll be able to text Riot. I want to give him about 20 minutes, so we have a perfect amount of time. We're going to do Colin in about 40 minutes.
Okay.
Cool. Did you text
I just texted Colin. So
Text Colin?
He knows what's up.
40 minutes. Right on. Well, let's go ahead.
Thank you guys for having me here. I
Yeah,
appreciate
man.
it.
Get close to the
Oh,
mic.
yeah,
get in there.
saddle
get
up to the
love,
mic.
Love the mic.
Yes.
Love it.
Yeah.
cool to-
SeedsHereNow.com. Thank you, James, for putting me on. And yeah, thank you very much. Adam and
Last
Mitch, for
minute, of
having
course.
me. Yeah, very last
Super
Super
last
show
minute.
fashion. We don't give anybody a chance to even think about it.
It was crazy to me.
And-
I didn't even know you guys were in Denver. I just thought you were in Spain. And then he was like, oh, Mephisto's coming on. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? He came from Spain just
Like that. That's how we roll.
It's quick.
I was
Like that.
Get
That's
on the
a real
teleporter
big
quick.
feature. Yeah.
Yep.
Big fan of the show.
Adam Dunn Show teleporter.
So, first of all, I guess I'm glad that no one said up front, like, oh, yeah, so there's this guy and he wants to bring this feminized Autoflower weed on your show. Because I would have been like, well, that guy cannot come on the show because that doesn't sound like good weed. But it's good weed.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, we've put a lot of time and effort into it, so we are absolutely proud.
Right on fucking cue. Hey, buddy. Skype. Well, we'll dive right into it then. It's going to get hectic. Welcome to the Adam
What's up,
Show.
man?
Who do we got on the line?
This is Colin.
Oh, what's going on? We got a little... Are you noisy in the background there, Colin?
We're gonna have you in a little bit. We're gonna have you call in.
Yeah, we're running a little bit behind here.
I
So
just sent you a text.
Yeah, I figured. I just didn't know. I was watching the show. I heard your lines were down, so I figured I'd just come and see what.
There you
No,
go.
we're all
time,
good.
anyway.
No, it's working now.
Give us a ring back in about 30 minutes, boss.
30 minutes. We got you.
Yeah, no problem. Cool.
Awesome.
Sounds good.
Peace.
Cool.
Right. All right. So let's bring it back. So how long have you guys been around? Mephisto Genetics. The first time I really heard the name was on Seeds Here Now, but
We've been around since 2011 as a business, but we've been breeding since about 2008. So we've put some time in before even actually releasing anything. And yeah, it started as kind of a grow competition between the two boys over in Spain. They were best friends from college, and one would grow photos and the other would grow autos, and see who could out yield each other in the time. And the autos kept consistently winning, but they didn't have the high that was there with the photo period. So they figured put in some time and work and breed them back to photo periods, and then breed those back to photo periods, and then breed those back to photo periods, and bring the auto quality up to where it should be.
so let's pause on that. First of all, I like the distinction of photos and autos. I've never heard anyone use
Auto.
photos. Like you never hear anyone use that term, but that's a great term. You only would use that term if you're in the world of autos.
For sure.
So that's interesting. So who conceived of sort of the breeding methodology here?
That would be Mitch. He is the head guy in
Not
Spain.
me. You're Mitch.
Yeah,
that
yeah, our
confused
Mitch.
me
Yeah.
with before.
Mitch Connor from South Park.
Okay.
Yeah, Mephisto Genetics is a ode to Alphonse Mephisto from
Okay.
South Park. Yeah, the three-assed baboon. And
I was going to
all
ask
those.
that. You beat me to it. Okay.
So, yeah.
he's actually from South Park.
Well, that's where the name is from. They're
Okay.
both from England. But
Oh,
yeah,
they're from
yeah,
England.
yeah.
Okay.
Living in Spain now. So Mitch and Tim, and yeah, they're the ones that came up with the breeding program, and they put it into effect. And initially, we're breeding with other companies, and then got into their own thing. And then once they got into their own, they really put all their best effort into it. And I mean, the product really shows. They started breeding with, way back in the day, lowrider, then bred that to autos, then bred those autos to inbred lines, then they crossed those back to photo periods, bred those out at least 4 generations, and then put those out for their first.
So you told me that they F4'd for once, and then they took that out to F4.
Yeah, so you
So they
get
did
the
like
auto.
a BX4 almost.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
BX4 to F4. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and well, we're taking some strains like our Chem Dog right now, which we've already worked from the Chem D to auto. Now we're crossing that back to Chem D, so that's going to be our Creme de la Chem. That's going to be a brand new artisanal coming out. But yeah, so it's basically just putting in the work and the time to actually do the proper breeding and selection, and being able to have the numbers there in Spain to do it properly.
So-
Yeah, that's
At least 2 questions come to mind right off the bat.
sure.
When you're talking autos, I mean, you're here using terms like photos, so obviously you're so accustomed to growing that way. But it's
I've
gotta
never
be,
even heard, nobody's ever pointed that out to me before, where it's all like, you just said photo.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was
that's the
confusing the
first
shit out of me
I
for
apologize,
when we were
yeah,
first
but
talking, but it's,
never even
if you're
occurred to
not-
me.
Yeah, it's just herb to us. So you threw me off track with that. So if you're breeding, if you're growing autos, like, was there a learning curve?
Oh, absolutely. Everybody thinks that autoflowers are easy, which is
They're not easy.
Not at all. They're so
Why not?
technically difficult to grow
That's terrible.
Easy to grow
Terrible
or easy,
news.
easy to grow or easy to produce?
Neither. I mean, if you want to grow them well,
Yeah.
like everybody says they're for beginners, but to really grow them well and to get 3, 6, 8 ounces out of them, you
Yeah.
got to know what you're doing.
Because of the timing, because of the issue.
Sure,
of
sure. And
coming in too quick.
no transplanting. You need to have airy soil. I mean, there's things that you need to do beforehand. There's a little bit of pre-planning. You can't play catch-up with them at all.
Right.
So if you put in the time and do a little bit of research beforehand, you can really produce excellence.
So what are some of the things that you want to kind of take as precautions if you're growing autos? Because a lot of us have never done that.
So always use airy soil. We like to add either 30% perlite, cocoa, or grow stones here in the future. But yeah, add that to the soil. No fertilizers, no nutrients for the first 2 weeks at least. I personally use a super soil mixture. Put that in the bottom half of the pot, then unamended roots organic soil on the top. Let it establish in that, and then grow down into the super soil. And by that time, I mean, it's all set. It just takes off, and water only the whole time. I use some compost teas, and I've started using coconut water from Build a Soil now that you guys have turned me onto that.
Oh,
But-
dude, the coconut water in
yeah.
the foliar is one of the coolest things you can do.
Yeah, the IPM too. That's been great so far. I'm in love with that stuff. So
So, what's the time frame like? Like, really, you can just throw beans right in. You don't even have to go 12-12, right? They're
yeah.
You
20
could go
hours is my
24
preference.
You
20
could go
hours of
24
light.
though, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. If
You
you go
just throw beans in
24.
dirt, 24 hours of light. How long till it starts to bloom?
Well, with 24, they will veg out just a little bit longer.
Okay, so at 20, how long till they start to bloom?
Usually about 3 weeks, you'll see pre-flowers. Yeah, from
And you
3
don't
to 10
flip,
weeks, it's just
so it
no,
just
no.
goes.
Yeah, you can throw them in your veg room and have some flowers there while you're vegging everything.
That was
creating
what was
mothers.
interesting when I was in Portland. We were in the veg room at a grow there, and it was like they were testing these autoflowers, and that's kind of where it's interesting when you especially got dead time in rooms and people aren't using them totally to their total optimal. And they had maybe probably about 8 plants total in there, and they were big plants. So they were all decent yielders, probably quarter-pound plants or something like that indoors. And like I said, it was just on a rack, and it never ever got moved. Didn't see a lot of any herm flowers, so it was interesting to see. It was like, okay, a couple of them were completely fucking tweaked and weird, but
Well, on the opposite end too, at 12-12, they will lose a little bit of yield. They won't really fill out.
There's
as
no
much
reason
as,
to put them 12-12, right?
No, not at all. Yeah, they do everything on their own.
So how long do they run? So they go about 21 days. They flip themselves basically, and then
Yep.
how long are they going to bloom for? Normal.
So
length?
our fastest strains finish at about 55 days from sprout. That would be like
From
sauerkraut
sprout.
from sprout.
So
yeah.
you throw that from straight up germination, not even cotyledon leaves.
Yeah, from germination above ground from sprout. Yep. And I mean that's commercial grade harvestable there. For the connoisseur, you might want to let it go on an extra 10 days or so. But
Sure.
Yeah, I mean if you're gonna harvest for live resin, perfect right there. I mean
55?
it's got excellent flavor. Yeah, it's really
Nice.
really good stuff.
so if you put those out early in the season, let's say, hoping without here in Colorado get hail, but like say you put them out May, June 1st, something like that, you're pretty much looking at August 15th, something like
Sure.
that.
Yep.
Full fruition.
Or you can put them out or twice. You get
Well,
two
there's
in
some
there.
things you can throw. You just keep throwing them out at different times.
Yeah, as long as you don't have too much of a climate swing and it's pretty relative, yeah, you'll be
So
good to go.
you're bringing up climate. I'm just kind of thinking in general, like how hardy are these genetics? On the one hand, I feel like, oh, it's autoflower. It's got to be hardy as fuck. These things want to live. On the other hand, I'm thinking like, all right, they're feminized. They're autoflower. There's some tweak. They might have some weirdness to them.
So really, to maximize, you do need to baby them and stay on top of them, especially for the first 3 weeks. If you mess them up at all, they'll stunt. They'll start to flower early, and that's why people have such a bad reputation. I mean, that's why you'll see the thumb size buds is people either too dense of soil, letting the soil dry out, not watering it enough, too
So
much
if
water.
they get stressed early on, basically they start
Exactly.
to flower because they're like,
Exactly.
oh fuck, we're gonna go.
So the better the environment you can provide.
So you really want to baby them so they're not rushing to flower.
Right.
That's interesting.
And in DWC, I mean, we just see some monsters.
Yeah.
13 ounces, yeah. So it's just, they really can get up there.
Just because they don't have everything's being fed to them and they have no real issues.
And nothing against the roots. I mean, I think they really just like to have that spa there at their feet. So
Yeah, so
They can
you think
stretch out.
autos especially, like, is it basically sandier soil?
yeah, just looser area. Like I said, perlite or any of the lava rocks or anything like
Sure,
that.
just very airy.
Absolutely.
Nice.
And cocoa too. They really take off in cocoa.
And so we've kind of covered the auto part of the spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
Was this a fem auto project from the beginning, or were they reg autos to start with?
Like I said, we were breeding with other people at first.
Right.
So everything was just fem that we released.
Okay.
We breed everything. I mean, we prefer to grow regulars. We love growing males out. We breed everything up until F4 is regular, and then our release is feminized, just because that's what the market's always the market's always demanded.
So that's also interesting too. So they breed reg, and then for 3 generations, and then they feminize the seed release. They don't even put out the reg seed,
Right.
which is sort of like, I mean, it's obviously the really smart thing to do if you're looking at the market, and it's the opposite. It's counterintuitive, I think, to a lot of people's process.
It gives us an extra generation to select from as well. As that's honestly just what the market demands over there in Europe. It's
Right, they're European based. Sure.
Yeah, for sure. And then recently we've seen a big change where a lot of people have been growing autoflowers over here. We've been contacted by, I guess they're called I-502s, people in Washington, people in California, big grow operations, saying that, yeah, we just want to give these a try. We've heard good things, so yeah, we're going to actually see what they're about.
And you're here in Denver, but I feel like Colorado's still against fem and against auto.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, 100%.
Right? Just
yeah.
bias.
James warned me on one of my first days out here. He said, yeah, you're going to run into some hate, so keep it under wraps.
I think it's interesting. I think it's great. I mean, The truth is, we haven't seen any good auto weed or good fem weed here. Good fem weed we've seen, and then good auto weed still remained a myth. But I think people are kind of like, they don't want it to be so simple. They don't want it to be plug and play. Like, they kind of resent that.
Well, and I mean, it's just got such a history to it. There have been bad autos out there for years and years and years. I mean, when we first started growing them, we smoked them. People thought they were really high in CBD, but the fact of the matter is, they just didn't have THC. It was just
They just didn't get you high. It's like,
That's all it
nothing
was.
going on here.
So you just had to keep crossing it back, keep crossing it back, keep crossing it back, breed it out. And a lot of people, a lot of other companies releasing autos are still going from that original lowrider 2 or one of the original lowriders, thinking that that's the best platform to create a brand new auto, instead of using whatever the best on the market is. We always have a new project coming out. We've got 2 or 3 years worth of projects already planned.
Yeah.
So we always have a new building block to go from. So we don't really...
Now, how hard is it in breeding for the auto traits? Are they really dominant? Do you find phenos where you're like, shit, these ones aren't auto?
No, yeah, I popped 50 seeds of the F2 generation, which is where you first see auto.
Yeah.
Got 9 females.
Wait, so you don't even see auto in F1?
No, yeah. A lot of breeders think that, these guys are just taking my strain, crossing it, and making an auto out of it. We'll send them some seeds and say, here you go, like, make your own auto. It's
So
fine.
if you cross
it's not
a
as
reg
easy.
strain, a photo strain as you call it, with an auto strain,
2 years of work.
you'll get a photo strain.
Yeah, photo, absolutely.
And then you'd have to
Fast
take
flowering
that.
sometimes, so it'll cut a week off of the photo flower sometimes.
But you still got to flip it. It'll veg
Absolutely,
if you
yep.
keep vegging it. And then if you cross that again back to the auto,
No, you cross that to
you
itself.
F2 that.
Yep.
So you F2 that, and
You'll
then
start
that
to see
brings out.
autos,
All right.
Yep. And then from those, you select the autos, breed that to F3. That's full auto, and then from there we select further.
They're set. They're not going anywhere.
Yeah, really, it's about
Can't breed it out.
breeding away from auto the whole time, just finding the photo traits, and the
So
only
you got to breed it in, and then once it's in, you're breeding away from
right.
it.
It's just,
Essentially.
that's why we made the inbred lines first, so we would know what to look for and stay away from. So
Sure.
it's like, okay, that's an auto trait popping up. Don't breed with that one.
What do you think, Adam? You can start
No,
breeding
that's good.
autos?
No, well, I mean, I like it
I
because
feel like it's a good breeding challenge.
I like it because it's working generational instead of it just being some instant chemical sort of reaction to which that makes me pissed off sometimes. Where you're like, well, that's not proper breeding, but
Yeah.
What, you're talking about feminizing?
when by just going from a one generation thing,
Right,
And
and
then
just-
but what also sounds like is that you're just basically not, unless you have got the magic strain, you're probably not even doing that. It's probably
Yeah, no, I mean, it's work every time. It's just doing the proper selection and finding those traits that we want to keep carrying on and running the numbers to actually find them. So.
It's definitely proper breeding. You know.
yeah. No, I'm interested. And speaking of which, where's our spray master spray? Is he called?
Spray McSpray. So here, you got to hit him up on Facebook or something because my phone's dead. My phone's dead. I can't. There you go. So, and let's talk about how you reverse. So you do reverse with STS.
Yep,
silver
thiosulfate. Yep.
And you said you have used.
I've used colloidal silver in the past. It wasn't as effective. Never had flowers really open on their own. Even with STS, you still have to manipulate to get the flowers to actually drop pollen. But yeah, I just never really had any luck with CS. So.
And have you ever done overflowering? Like what? How hard was it for you to learn feminized breeding? Did you grow like regular pot ever? Did you ever grow
I jumped
regular
right into
photo herb?
Okay, in high school, I grew photoperiods. I grew regular marijuana, but yeah.
And then at
So-
some point you were just like, I don't want to do what everyone else is doing. I want to grow some crazy shit.
I moved for school and work, couldn't meet anybody with good weed, saw somebody named Seymour Buds pulling pounds of autoflowers in 80 to 90 days in DWC. And I said, all right, I'm going to follow his method exactly because he was kind enough to put the recipe out there.
Sure.
Did that, same exact thing, 8 ounces first harvest, 12 ounces next harvest. I was like, oh, I'm here from the future. Soil wins that soil versus hydro competition. So yeah, I was doing hydro at first. Then I started doing organic soil, and I was just like, oh my god, okay.
Did your yields drop when you first?
Absolutely, huge drop, yeah.
And
But
then
the flavor was just through the roof. I mean, there were nuances that just weren't there with hydro. So as soon as I switched, I never looked back. And the only reason I switched was because I had my hydro system upgraded. Got a bigger pump, didn't upgrade the tubing, was causing too much back pressure on the pump, heated up the buckets, and I just couldn't figure it out until I had already thrown it all away.
Pythium and all
Yeah,
sorts of stuff,
absolutely.
yeah.
So I was doing the...
That's the biggest problem with all the DWC is it's the water temperature. I mean, your number one, and it was really chillers
Heisenberg
years
tea,
ago.
yeah.
Now it's sort of normal, but
Yeah, I tried the Heisenberg tea. I mean, that let me at least get to my harvest, but yeah, it was still just brutal. So.
And since then you said you've been in soil. Now let me ask you this: Do you find is there any genetic overlap in the auto traits and the feminized traits, or those are?
What do you mean the feminized?
Well, I
traits?
guess once you, and this is what we discussed on the episode we were talking about before, right? Like you kind of have this genetic block that you're taking yourself into when you do that feminized cross, right? It's feminized seed now, right? So it's genetically a bit different.
Sure.
And you're working in a subset of traits there, right? Does that affect the auto traits in any way to take it to that subset?
No, not
or
that
vice
I've
versa?
noticed. No.
Is it harder to feminize or more? And we talked about in one of the previous episodes how one out of every however many fem seeds is still going to be male. It's just sort of closer on the scale of likelihood to be feminine or feminized. Do you find any effect on that at all?
No, and we're still waiting to hear back about an actual male out of any of our seeds, so I'm curious
maybe
to
you
hear.
have found something. Because here's what I'm thinking, like, when you're talking about photoperiod stuff, you're talking about basic reproductive stuff in the plant, and when you're talking about sex traits, you're talking about the same thing.
Right,
basic
it's all
reproductive
the
stuff.
same, it's just a matter
So
of...
is it genetically connected at all? Is the curious little line I was going down there. Did you get a hold of Riot? Because I want to bring him in here.
I sent him a message.
He loves breeding theory. He's a breeding theory now.
Do you mind if I grab my water? I've got a little bit of dry
No,
mouth.
do it, yeah.
No, you have to go completely dry mouth for sure.
Completely dry mouth. He probably fell asleep. He loves to fall asleep when he's supposed to be on the show. Yeah.
Kid, Jesus.
No, it's okay. This is a good... speaking of the kid, Jesus.
Ring-a-ding-dang.
So, I'm actually digging this convo. I never thought I would be really into a conversation about feminized autoflower seeds, either.
Yeah, and another thing is, I was telling you earlier, we've a grower, his name is Duddy Panny on Instagram. He had one of our flowers tested at 25% by Analytical 360 or Analytics 360 out there
Which
in Washington.
those guys don't test anyone over like 17%. That's the guy we had on the show, Ed.
They like the low.
Yeah,
They
they
like the low yield.
Yeah, they give you
so
the accurate ones.
After hearing your show and seeing that, I was like, wow, that's pretty impressive. So all of our stuff that we have tested is the breeding rejects, because obviously we pollinate the very best, and once pollinated, I mean, we're
You're not
growing them
gonna
out
pick them
long
and
for
test them.
seeds. So.
I can have Colin calling if you want.
Let's have Colin.
He's got his
We'll
own
see.
technique. He's got his own.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, you're kind of
way.
covering STS for us. Let's ask this. Let's give Colin in like 10 minutes.
All right.
How long did it take you to learn reversal? I think a lot of people, I guess, my goal here is to really look at why so many people are against autoflowers and against feminized seed. Right off the bat, autoflowers we thought was swag. There's some fire autoflower in front of me. Okay, I'll take that back. Now, feminized seed, we got to kind of dissect why people are against it. I think, first of all, people are skeptical of the method. So, I mean, how difficult is it really?
It's not difficult at all. It's just a matter of mixing 3 ingredients, and that's it.
That's from my phone. And, I mean, applying it and going through the process, that's, I think, where people are kind of like, well, I don't want to fuck up and harm the
Put
wrong
gloves on,
plant.
wear long sleeve shirts, spray it once a week, every 5 days if you need to, and I mean, that's it. With autoflowers, as soon as they show sex, we start. With photoperiods, you should start about a week into the flip if you're going to reverse, and then, the plant that you want to pollinate, the other photoperiod, don't flip it until a week or two after
So
the
you
first.
delay it by stagger by about 2-3
Sure.
weeks?
With autoflowers, we don't, but I mean,
You don't
that's what
have
I would
to.
do with photoperiod. if I
Yeah,
was
with
going
autos
to.
you don't have to though.
No,
so
they-
that's
they
an
show
interesting.
fast
That
enough
would be
that-
an example of the overlapping between. That's an interesting synergy between working in the worlds of auto and fem.
Sure. Yeah, and also, I mean, you always want to use your best specimens to go reversal first.
Sure.
And the healthiest, anything showing any sort of side of stress at all, just toss it.
Don't even consider it.
Go for the best, and then pick the next best for what you're going to pollinate or whatever you're actually tracking for.
Now, do you do any self-pollinations at all, or you always do
No,
to
always.
a different?
Yeah,
I
always
mean, it's
to
a different
something else.
cutting of the same or a different plant.
Well,
entirely?
it's autoflower, so there's no cuttings. It's just another seed plant. So you're growing out 50 seed plants at F3. Well, actually, we grow out about 100, pick 50 females, and then from there, pick the best, the hardiest, reverse those, and then select what we want the rest
Right.
to be. So, and sometimes we'll-
autoflowers, so there's no females. Dude, it's crazy. It's all automatic. It's like robo growing.
It's fun. It's extremely fun to breed, and that's all we do. I mean, we only do automatic, so we try to not step on anybody's toes and
Sure.
stay in our own lane. Yeah, that's what we do.
And at least so far, there are people who don't want to touch it. But you guys have to be getting traction with like the big corporate grows that want
Yeah, it actually, man.
that
So-
are just looking at numbers and times and being like, well, you
Anytime we do any like seed giveaways or freebies and they go to photo growers, we always get feedback like, Okay.
Really?
This is something different. How did you do this?
You
How did you do this?
clearly are a big fan of the show because you just did a masterful segue. So much so that I'll stop because you got some shit to give away, right?
Oh yeah, you want me to go grab those?
Yeah, let's do that. Let's
grab
convert
that.
some photo growers to auto. Let's do it.
Versions.
Yeah. By the way, I did not mean to do that. Thank you.
No, that's brilliant.
You
That's
brought that
that's the
together.
best kind of very subtle, sly segue.
To be announced loudly by us.
Yes.
To ruin the segue-ness.
Oh, I do know your passwords to everything. Wonderful.
Nice.
Oh,
So, how's the squishing going on over there, Squish
it's
Master?
getting
What? De-squishing?
deconstructed,
De-squishing? Oh, dude.
taken on the road, dude.
Look at this guy.
Look at he's so set up. First of all, those are some of the coolest genetic shirts. What's up with? Oh, that's the South Park pig.
Yeah, if you turn it upside down, it's the same thing. It's the
Same.
ambigram
Oh,
design.
we love that.
That's cool.
And then I got.
I need one of those. I'm not just giving that away on the air to someone.
There's 5 there.
Yeah, I only have one body.
2XL, 3XL.
Oh, and there's
So whoever wins
seeds.
the seeds wins everything. The whole cake.
No.
We can't give it to 19 different. We never get them out to people. We're terrible.
No, well, yeah, that's true. We're not good at sending things out. Do you want to send them out to people?
I can do that.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, so what
I
we
can't
got?
do that.
Supernatural
Since you're
OG,
not
which is one of the ones we checked out here.
Yeah, that is our OG Ghost Train Haze #1 auto, which Rare Dank asked us to not put that in the actual
Supernatural
description
Those are all the
anymore.
same, and those are all the same. Is that what's going on?
Yeah, and these are all the same. This is
I
Heisenberg
steal it
special.
too. I steal
So what's
too.
that? Yes, and I steal two too.
There you go. So
What's
now we know
Heisenberg
it's-
special?
Heisenberg Special is 24 karat, which is the Bog Sour Boggle auto,
Okay.
crossed to Walter White, which is Chrome's the White, made Autoflower.
So this is auto cross to an auto.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that is 2 of our main lines inbred, so it's one of our limited editions. We just take 2 of the very best plants, pollinate at once, and once those are out, they're out. And the Supernatural is the OG Ghost Train Haze #1, crossed to Alien OG.
And they have the cool piggy hologram that seems super legit.
Yeah, that's how you know it's from us.
A lot of people might be knocking these off without the piggy hologram.
You know, someone's already reached out and asked where we got that done, so.
Yeah.
I bet they did.
Oh, and they all have unique serial numbers?
They
What?
do. Yeah.
These must cost a fortune. These are
They-
awesome.
you're not joking. Yeah, they do. Thank you. I appreciate it very much. I'll make sure it gets back to the person that created those.
Yeah, that is sick.
Right down the side where you can't get the.
Yeah, you can't open it without it. It's great.
Yeah.
Well done. Very pro.
And those aren't heat sealed, just so you know.
They're not sealed. On
No,
top.
I
Okay.
just I made those up for you special this morning.
Oh, special batch here.
Like that.
This is pretty cool, man. Well, all right. So how are we going to give these away? You know how we do this.
Yeah,
No, you pick. You know how we do.
Photo period growers that hate autos.
All right. Whoever
around,
hates
you can-
Autoflowers the most gets them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Biggest
If you
haters.
hate Autoflowers, call in for free Autoflower seeds.
There
It's
you
the
go.
logic we're going with.
I mean, they're going to be the biggest critics and give you the best responses.
All right. If you
right?
want to get to call back and call this guy a fucking liar on the show,
Do it.
if he's wrong, right?
I'll
Are we
take
gonna do
it.
that?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm very humble.
Then
and
call
honest.
in. I think that's a good one to put out there. We don't think you're a fucking liar.
Then we got
720-310-8237. 720-310-8237.
one of each in a T-shirt.
Everyone gets one of each in a t-shirt. Sure.
There you
Three
go.
winners. Yep.
Three winners. That makes
3
sense.
winners gets one of each in a t-shirt. 720-310-8237.
One
Call
of each
in.
t-shirt. One of
You
each
get to
t-shirt.
grow him. If he's lying, you can call. We'll bring him back on the show.
Lying, I'm dying. I mean, that's us.
I'll bring him right here in front of us in person, and you get to call him a fucking liar in front of everyone. Wow, everyone is saying fuck autos.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck
Pick a couple. Should be a bunch of
autos.
winners.
Yeah. They sound like winners to me.
Yes, if you're saying fuck autos, Crappie, call in. Crop, do it. 720-310-8237. Fuck autos indeed. 720-310-8237. And I guess we're going to have a guest handle the Skype, because that's
That's
the
how we do it.
rudest thing we can do.
Because the kid's not able to do 2 things at once. Kid, multitasker.
No, we're gonna have some Skype calls,
We're
hopefully.
about to have a call.
I can sense it, because we're giving away packs of Autoflower seeds to people who hate Autoflowers the most.
Except for you, of course.
Do you like Autoflowers? Oh. Now it's going to fall, but hopefully we'll be all right. That's all right. We can see it. That's good. That's good. I can see. Thank you.
Also,
We'll hear it.
seedsherenow.com.
Well, yeah, huge shout out to seedsherenow.com.
I feel like I'm in Amsterdam every time they transfer those.
Yeah, so no one wants... Oh, there we go. I knew this was going to happen. Just press the green phone button. Oh, there are 2 of them? Okay, press that one. Do it. Yes. And now this one, hit add to group call. Yep. Get them. Cool. Now we got two of you. I got 810 and I got 662. 662, what's going on? I'm talking to you.
Yo, what's happening?
Who are we talking to?
Artie. Hi, this is Leo.
I got Leo, and who's the other guy?
Artie.
Artie, I guess. Artie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So Artie, you're 662.
Yep.
Okay. So Artie, how much do you fucking hate Autoflowers?
I fucking hate them.
What do you think is the worst part about Autoflowers?
The yield.
Okay. Do you think this guy's gonna end up calling you a liar, or you think you're gonna end up changing his mind?
I hope to change his mind.
We'll see.
All right. Well, Artie, here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna ask you to email info@adamdunshow.com with your name and write up about how much you hate Autoflowers and why, and we'll forward that along, and we'll get you to a chance to maybe prove him wrong, maybe prove him right. And here's the deal: if he proves you right, you got to send us a picture of you wearing the T-shirt with the flowers. If you prove if he proves you wrong, meaning if it's good, you got to send us a picture of you wearing the T-shirt and the flowers. And if it's bad, we need a picture of you burning the T-shirt. Can you do that? All right.
Done.
All right.
Sounds
Done
good.
deal. Cool. And I guess that's Colin calling back. Thank you, Artie. Shoot that email. And now we're going to talk to 810. That was Leo.
Yeah.
Leo, what's going on, buddy? How much do you hate Autoflowers?
Fucking disgusting. It's Colin Gordon.
Why do
They're fucking disgusting. I mean, I've thrown some Autoflowers, but they don't get you high. They don't have any CBD. They actually don't do anything. It's not a fluff. But at the same time, I just heard this man talking about the airy soil, you know, and I was like, okay, so these are input in the transplanting. These are new inputs that I'm going to try, just as he said. I don't do no super soil, but, you know, I'll do some airy soil, and I'll see what it is. Just put it in there and see what it does. It's in the bedroom. So, you know, I'm not wasting any electricity. The bedroom needs to stay on. Let's see what they can do.
Perfect.
All right, so let's see what they can do. All right, brother. So go ahead and shoot an email to info@AdamDunnShow. Put Leo in there. Put why you hate Auto Seed, and we'll get and your address, and we'll get it taken care of.
Info@AdamDunn.com. AdamDunnShow.com.
Info@AdamDunnShow.com. Yes, sir.
Okie dokie. Thanks.
Thank you for calling in, bro.
Man.
Enjoy.
All right, we got one more.
Okay.
720. Is that Colin Gordon, or is that a new person?
That's me. Yeah, what's up, buddy?
What's up, buddy? Well, you
want
don't
some
need
free
free
seeds? You want some
seeds.
free
No,
seeds?
don't give them.
First of all, I want to pretend that I don't like Autoflowers, so he can give me some seeds.
Well, you can pretend you don't like Autoflowers. We'll see if we can tell if you're lying.
Yeah, they suck. I hate them.
Yeah, that
So
doesn't
give
sound
me
some-
sincere.
didn't sound
No,
very
that didn't
convincing.
sound. These guys really sounded like they hated
Really,
Autoflowers, right?
it was pure.
I would
That
love
was
to grow those and show what I could with those and put that on my page, because I know I can get 3 to 5 ounces easy.
I completely
in a
forgot
2-gallon
that
bottle.
that you even work with autos. When we started doing auto fem shows, I was like, well, Colin does fem, that's good. But you do autos too. Tell us about that work.
For about 7 years, and I think Adam was one of the first people that I even gave my stuff to, and this was 2009, I believe.
Yeah, right on there.
And I just ripped off the guy you just had on there. So I just took all his gear, and I just started using that. That's a true story. So that's why I was glad he was on. I'm like, oh yeah, that's where I got all my shit from. So I took his low rider and his easy rider, and I started from there. And it's exactly what he said. I can't more clearly or more articulately say what he said. It's just taking time and really, really just choosing. It's pheno hunting. And, you know, feminizing process is a very, very difficult one as well. It's a tool that's often used flippantly and by people who don't know how to use it. But it is a tool, you know, and you can't dismiss a tool or a technique or a method without understanding it.
So,
And that's what most people that use it don't understand it.
So, and you do fem auto work, or are those separate lines of work for you?
So we're not releasing any autos yet. We're going to do an entire auto line coming out, but when we're released, we're going to have multiple strains. I'm 100% sure the future of seeds in this industry it is Autoflower. There's no other way. And it's going to be a consistent, feminized Autoflower that you're going to actually get the exact bud that you think. It's cheaper, it's easier, there's more vigor, more pest resistance, especially with organics, eating and pest resistance and all that. Going from feminized Autoflower will be the commercial temperature. Period. It's right there. I've talked to these companies, and I know the R&D that Monsanto and these other guys, all their money's going into making seeds, and specifically autoflowers, of cultivars that you're familiar with.
Makes sense.
That is
that's where the heads are going to be at. Make it consistent, make it reliable.
The best.
So now,
within like 5 to 10% of exactly what you expect, which is as good as you can get from any F3 or better.
Sure. So that's the auto side of it. Now, when we go to the feminized side, you use a totally different method.
I use multiple methods.
Okay.
And I do have.
Okay.
I have feminized seeds and I have alpha fem seeds, which is a truly different method which doesn't use any sort of ethylene blockers at all.
Okay, so is it I know you're not. I don't want to ask you to give away the trick, but
I don't know. I can tell you how it works without actually giving.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to ask you to do right now. So it's not ethylene related at all, or just doesn't use ethylene blockers?
B. It does not use ethylene blockers. Okay. Everything when it comes to sex and flowers. What sex they produce is ethylene based. The decision in that node is ethylene based. How we get those particular flowers to those particular nodes, and what programming gets it there. So there's stress, ethylene blockers. There's excessive wind. There's no CO2. There's different types of stress that can create. Right. Well, there's also ways to create a plant that's so healthy that in nature, and Adam and I went into this very deeply recently, but I want to give you a short version. In nature, the healthiest plant in the patch will seed itself. Week 2, it starts putting out pollen. And they're all inside, pure S1s, and they're adapting to their environment. And so we found this happen in over a 40, 45-year period in Kentucky where these guys had Colombian gold seeds. Everyone in the area did. And this one farmer had his plants are completely different than everybody else's. And he said that because they would pick their seeds out every year and just plant them. What he would do is let his seeds drop naturally, and about every 5 years or so, a new version of the strain would take over. And what he noticed was, as he called it, the alpha female. I'm like, that's not a thing. And then I realized it was.
Now it's a thing.
Would seed itself. And the seeds were you could tell they're 2 weeks, where the males were putting off flowers, weeks, what we would call week 3, week 4 of flowering. These are seeding themselves almost right away. So you're having these just big, thick black seeds. And they're almost identical genetically to the parent. Very, very little variance. In fact, they are a little more vigorous than the parent and have adapted a little bit better to the environment.
Well, I'm sure even
but
being closer to the seed generation, they're going to be happier. So let me ask you this: can you reliably induce this process? Is that where you?
Yes.
It sounds like something that maybe
it is patent pending. It is patent pending, and I have done it with 3 separate strains in 3 completely different environments, and was successful all 3 times. It's something that I noticed happening randomly over the past 20 years, and I was like, that doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. Kept seeing these extremely healthy plants that had never, ever given off pollen. Week 2, all of a sudden, have a pollen sac. And Adam also talked about it. If you let a plant, flower 100, 150 days all the way till death, often right before that, they put off pollen as well.
Sure,
so that's because the plant stops producing ethylene in the rejuvenation phase. So that's a good way to get non-stressed pollen. Also, if you're breeding for yourself, which is what I used to do. But it's limited in how much pollen you can get. Now, I will say, Mitch, that the production, as far as how many seeds you can make per square foot, however you want to look at it, is only about 10 to 20% at maximum.
Okay.
It's not nearly the high volume. But if you can truly guarantee an extraordinarily vigorous seed with guaranteed genetics, it's worth it. And also, once again, I've found, I hear this 4% of males or 4 of 1,000 feminized seeds. That's just not true. If you use maybe colloidal silver only, but it depends on the strain. There are some strains that will never put out bananas because their ethylene production is so high. There are other strains that you reverse them without testing the ethylene distribution and production of that plant. It's just Russian roulette, and that's what everybody's been doing for the last 15 years. Is you just, I'm going to reverse this. You can't reverse a plant using ethylene blockers that's already naturally low in ethylene, because that's going to take on that trait. So that's where they're unstable, so it's like one of those things that the results actually disprove the science. So the results are, yes, feminized seeds have been shitty and unstable. But that's only because people have been making them incorrectly.
Well, yeah, and also one of the things I've also noted a few times is that the reason that I believe that they were shitty is because they actually went for the easiest ones to flip, you know what I mean? And the easy ones to flip are not always the best ones, you know what I mean? So it's kind of like they just went like, oh, this one doesn't flip, so we won't work on it. And actually the ones, I've always kind of looked at it from the opposite spectrum, where if I see something that with a light leak will start to herm on me, I'm always like, it might not be a good plant to have around, because I know how touchy it can be. You know, guy walks in, turns on the light, well, now all of a sudden you got seeds. Whereas other plants, they're bulletproof just because that's the way they are. And so I'm sure that has a lot to do with the ethylene production.
That is our number one qualification, is exactly what you just said. So we're using, if we've noticed they reversed easy, we don't even bother, because that means their ethylene distribution is off, or one of those things. And then we'll throw ethylene blockers and try to stress plants and see if they can grow through it to see how strong is this plant.
Sure.
And, you know, and I like playing with those. And then the other thing is, you know, like, if you get someone who's breeding actual cultivars into the F3 or further process, and they reverse one of those strains, it's going to be fine. That's going to be fine. It's when you just are reversing everything and anything.
Sure.
And here's the other thing, and this is the main thing. You got people reversing, say, Super Lemon Haze. Well, they bought that as a fem seed, which was femmed from Amnesia Lemon. So now you have third generation fem seed. You're going to have problems, you know? So it's being able to identify the genetics you're working with, create actual strains, cultivars, whatever you want to call them, and then feminize. Or have go-to feminized breeders where you know, hey, I can use ethylene blockers on this and it's going to work. But it's a testing project, just like everything else. But I feel that, so what we do is we're trying to recreate this alpha plant. So obviously the first thing you do is you need to have an extraordinarily healthy plant. It's a combination of gibberellic acid, CO2 levels, and simply a perfectly healthy plant. And if you have gibberellic acid levels high enough, and you have the CO2 levels at the appropriate level, and those CO2 levels need to be ratioed to the type of spectrum and the type of strain. So that changes. Each strain can be very different. Then yes, the plant in week 2 of flowering will absolutely put out pollen, and that pollen, every single one of those seeds is going to be a beast, period. And it's going to be way better, more consistent male, female you bought, other than truly F5 stuff are better.
So I gotta pause right here and say, have you heard anything ever like this before, Adam? This sounds pretty totally unique to me as an approach.
I heard about it like 3 days ago.
Right, but you've never thank you, but you've never heard in your many years around of trying to use gibberellic acid, CO2 levels, and a really healthy plant to produce super seed in week 2. It sounds pretty novel.
But the good part about it too, I like, is that the fact that when you know, I mean, that's kind of the key to all breeding, is just the best, healthiest.
The healthiest.
Selection.
That's important anyway.
Just so you know, I didn't. None of this is mine. Like, I borrowed all these pieces from things that are happening in ag already. They've been using gibberellic acid to reverse plants for 30 years in ag. That's not new at all. I stole the exact formula. So that part of it isn't new. And I highly suggest when people use ethylene blockers, to also use gibberellic acid. That way you don't need nearly as much of the ethylene blocker. But you can actually get these plants to do this. And anyone who's been in enough gardens has seen what in their head is called stable. Stable meaning producing ethylene even with the plant. And all of a sudden, one day, one year, one crop, whatever, boom, lateral branch halfway down, pollen just comes up. It happens.
Sure.
It happens
all the time.
Right. So the question is why? And we were identifying these healthy plants that have been stable for years and years and years, and all of a sudden one random situation. So it had to happen a few times before we were like, what is really happening? Like, it's not random anymore. It just keeps happening because Colorado has given us enough square footage to look at, to where I walk through a lot of gardens, a lot of them aren't even mine, and all of a sudden, boom, there it is again. And we saw that similarity happening. It was a really healthy plant. It was always a lateral branch about halfway down. halfway down the plant, halfway down the branch.
The chem.
That's
Same
the
place.
theory.
Same number.
Colin, I got to pause you right here because both of our heads just lit up. Adam, tell the story right now.
Well, I already mentioned it when Colin had said this during his part of the panel that we were doing. I was like, yeah.
Whose theory was that?
Well, that was from... Who was on the show who had that happen?
Oh, was it Dave Golden Coast who had the theory about that happening to chem and making OG?
Single branch...
Single branch.
Completely out of nowhere. Boom! Male branch. You know what I mean? Which... And I said that to Colin, and Colin goes, yeah, that's exactly the strain that it happened on first time. So.
Good. That's what you're looking for. And there were some people in a breeding seminar and asking, and I'm like, I go, if you see that, that's the pollen you want. Because not only will you get good crop, that every single seed that comes from that pollen is a good seed, period. It's one of those things that and this is where it happened. So Walter White, you talked about earlier, that's actually our cross. We just crumbled the white to make it. It was one-hit wonder. Like Hallie got the seed. It was a chocolate and my peanut butter situation. We had an alpha pollen for my sourflow hit up, so we did sourflow times mandarin. Well, one piece of pollen got on the white, and like Hallie gets it, he's like, dude, there's a seed in it. He gives it back to me. I grow it out. I'm like, what are the odds of being as frosty as the white and as terpy as the sourflow? 100%. It came out exactly how you'd want it. You're like, holy shit, how am I 1 for 1? But we did this with a few different mistake seeds. And then you start thinking back to a lot of the best strains in the world were mistakes. And
Almost
randos,
Pretty much all
bad seeds.
You
Right.
hear the
So you're
story,
like, well,
and it's not a heavily seeded bag ever. It's only like 20 or 40 seeds.
right. Right. And often they're really dark and inside the bud, not on the outside. It's not like a pollinated flower. It's a flower that pollinates itself. So
All right, so I gotta pause you here, Colin, and say it's GBD.
Yep.
You've been doing feminized auto stuff for a long time. Has your mind ever gone anywhere down this thing?
No, I haven't seen an alpha female auto yet. I have not.
Do you know what? Are you familiar with?
No, this is all brand
concept?
new to me. Yeah.
So the
the
road
thing,
branch
so-
theory's been around a little bit, but what Collins hit on is it being superior as opposed to totally undesirable is a completely new take on it.
It's not, though. See, that's the thing. It's a new take to us in our circles. But if you actually, now that I've told you this, it's going to open up a whole, holy shit, window. If you're a Google addict, you're fucked. Because that's what happened to me. And then it was like 3 months later, I'm like, there's more. There's more about this. There's people 800 years ago doing this. You know, this isn't a new technique. This isn't a new. None of the science is new. It is all borrowed. I just put the puzzle together to work for me.
It's like glass blowing and agronomy are like similar, where they're just like
They're ancient sciences.
You think you know it, and then you're like, oh yeah, it's like an 800-year-old technique. You know what I mean? It's like, I thought I invented something.
So
It's a discovery. It's a discovery, not an invention. But I did also discover the formula where I can actually produce it consistently.
see, that's
So
what's
I didn't
really
invent it.
If you could
that-
go into any garden and make the changes to make this happen, I'm really fucking impressed.
I can do that. I can do that. Yep. And all you need to do is have an environmentally controlled room. Let me grow a strain one time all the way through regularly, and then learn a little bit about it. And then the second time through, I will get you a bare minimum of 20 to 30, all the way up to 500 seeds on that plant the next run through. Great way to truly put S1s away of your seeds if you want to. Also, you know, they're highly dependable. You could hashtag any single one of my fem strains I ever put out. You will not see a single hermaphrodite, period. And the only one that's ever hermaphrodited, I told people it might, because it was a Charlotte's Web S1. And I'm like, yeah, that might. But you're also gambling. You're looking for high CBD strains. So I'm letting you know that that's possible. Yeah, that might hurt me. But none of my strains ever do, because if I even use blockers, I use trace amount of blockers, and that's before they go into flowering.
I'm loving this theory on the blockers, and you just explained, you cracked the code, as it were, of how you can end up making femseed that herms, and it's because you're overusing your ethylene blockers and really messing up your threshold there. You're not really testing for the same thing. You're not blocking the same level of stuff. It's awesome stuff. I think I want to do another fem breeding episode, because here's what we do have to wrap up because we're over 2 hours. But
What? No.
well, Riot just hit you up.
Riot is ready, I think.
Fuck it, let's bring on Matt Riot.
Mr. Riot, come in.
Riot.
Probably a counterfeit. Probably not even him. Just tell him I said that. Probably a counterfeit.
Probably counterfeit. Well, you can
Probably
talk.
not him.
He's gonna call. He's gonna be on the party line.
All right.
So, what's cool to me is that like when they were trying to figure out a lot of medical stuff in the Victorian era, turn of the century, they didn't do it by analyzing healthy
I feel
stuff.
like 2011. I think.
But they did it by analyzing weird stuff, anomalies,
Results.
and that's where you find out how systems work when you look at how systems break. And that's where we're playing at here.
Hey, what's up, fellas?
Oh, there he is.
Sleepyhead. What's up, Sleepyhead?
Yeah.
All right, so
my daily nap.
So Riot, we talked about a lot of stuff. You probably missed it during your siesta.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Colin's got a really interesting method. Relates to the rogue branch on the chem theory, right? That Dave Golden Coast has.
I've heard it.
Colin's got a method that can reliably create the rogue branch, and
I told him I got it before anyone actually, just randomly, like a year ago.
oh, okay. So there you go. So
I told him I needed an NDA before we went further, but I just hit him up because I respect
No
what he's done.
NDAs on the Adam Dunn show.
No.
It's over, bro.
Oh, no. But I actually hit up Matt. I was like, what do you think? Yeah, let's talk about it. That's interesting.
So what?
But I hit up a few different people to get feedback on because I didn't want to think I was insane.
So
Yeah.
Riot, we've had like a few different schools of thought here. You are all about pouring on that STS solution. Your Riot spray, and I got to say, from like everyone who's used it, Dark Horse just used it to do some femseed for Europe. There's a lot of people, pros and amateurs, alike using it, and everyone has positive feedback on it. So
Yeah.
and you're dumping STS on there,
It's the guardian of
the guardian of reversal space.
and it absolutely works. It does. And I was saying earlier, it's just a matter of just not reversing random plants.
So Matt,
Yeah,
how do you
that's really the
choose?
key.
How do you choose which plants you're going to work with? Because the part that you missed that was really interesting was Colin gave a really astute explanation of how when you're using heavy doses of ethylene blockers, you're messing up your selection for plants that have that weird low threshold ethylene production, and therefore plants that are likely to get in the mix that wouldn't get in it if you used a lower amount of ethylene blocker.
Ooh, I hadn't even thought of that. I haven't. That's not even anything I've ever considered.
No, me either, and it makes a ton of sense, though, right?
Yeah. No, that definitely does make a ton of sense.
So
That's a variable I hadn't even considered. That's interesting.
So can I also say, here's the thing. So, Matt, you run gear that's way more stable than the average person. I'd say more than 99.99%. So you may not have ever even run into the problem that most people do. When I'm talking about, they're reversing a lemon haze that was originally reversed from an amnesia lemon, I'm like, well, this is like 4th generation fem. You can't just randomly put blockers on those. But but what I do is I combine gibberellic acid with ethylene blockers, and it minimalizes the amount of ethylene blockers you need to use. And on top of that, we found a way to actually
going straight to gibberellic. Yeah.
Yeah, so you want to jibby it GA3 at like 200 parts per million about 2 weeks before you flip. And also you get the flowers instead of a standard reverse, like kind of sucked in, shitty-looking flower that doesn't open like a male. All those flowers open up to male flowers when you use gibberellic acid, and you'll get 10 to 15 times more pollen than you would without using a gibberellic acid.
But that said, you're saying when you do the alpha-female method, even though you're producing all
Well,
that more
alpha-female is separate. We're not using any blockers at all.
So this is a separate method that you usually use. Okay.
It's creating a perfect method for a perfect plant and dialing that in for that plant to self-seed, period. There's no outside pollen. Now, most of our feminized seeds, we can't afford to do that. We can't do that in bulk yet, but we use ethylene blockers. We just use them very minimally with strains that don't easily stress and hermit. So it's like we test for ethylene distribution within the plant. So we wouldn't use an ethylene blocker unless the plant was a consistent, strong plant. But what we do is, like I said, we minimize it by using gibberellic acid, GA3. And you could water it all the way from 2 weeks before you flower all the way till week 4 of flowering, about once a week. And you can also use it as a foliar. And you will get much, much larger flowers. And you don't get that internal reversed flower. You get an external where those little tiny stems push out on those pollen sacs to push them out and open versus you have to grab tweezers and shit to pull them out.
And that's if you just water it in. That's even if you don't even apply it on directly on the nodes. Either one.
Gibberellic acid, you could, or you could either one, and it's a systemic. I mean, for 2 weeks it's going to be in that plant, so
right.
So you can put it in whichever acid is easier. Whichever, however, whatever. It's also, it may depend on what you get. You may get gibberellic acid liquid. You're more apt to water it in. If you get a powder, you're more apt to use the foliar.
Right.
I will say,
but you use that in conjunction with this spray, and you're going to get just even better result of the same result.
Right. What were you saying, buddy?
I will say, early on, when I was trying to figure out what I wanted to use, I tried gibberellic acid in different ratios, and every single time I could never stop the stretch, the stretch to where branches break, where it gets almost gummy, and I could never figure out how to stop that part.
So I found that when using colloidal or whatever ethylene blockers, they actually kind of almost work as a Gibby blocker as well, particularly gibberellic acid 4,7. So some strains, if you're reversing an OG, which is crazy high in gibberellic acid, use less. Use a lot less. But if you got some true Afghan that just doesn't have any stretch in it naturally, then it's a totally different method, it's a totally different amount. I've had plants where I've watered it one time, and I'm like, oop, that's enough. Then I've got plants where like 5-6 waterings in it, I'm like, just nothing, it just won't stretch. So that's just
It's a good way to figure out what sucks and what's great, right?
Well, what I think is really interesting about everything Colin's talked about so far is observing, and the way he's looking at it's what's really interesting. He's observing what's going on inside the plant by how it's responding to how he applies something. Like even here, he's talking about. I'm assuming here that you haven't tested OG and found it high in gibberellic acid, but you've obviously deduced it by how stretchy it is and how it responds to the adding of stretchy.
Yeah, by the morphology.
Yeah,
not like a lab test. That's just morphology.
Right.
Yeah.
But
and I think that's in general. You can see a plant that's high in gibberellic acid by the length of node, how much the bottom branches want to stretch up. Like you didn't top it yet; they're still like above the cola somehow.
Sure.
That's a lot of gibberellic acid. So, yeah.
Nice.
There's ways to identify all those different things, and also, but I think just like every method and anything you do to play with it, you got to own it. You got to figure out your strain, do your thing. But Yep.
You have to know each strain before you reverse, and you have to know the fucking plants. I mean, that's always been my approach to all this is use your plants inside out before you even start fucking with them. And that's how you avoid all the herms and everything else.
And that goes to say with it.
You do that, you're safe with any method.
All breeding should be like that, though, too. I mean, the minute you
right.
think, you go, oh my God, everyone's got this. This is the best thing in the world. I got to use it. And then you realize it's fucking ridiculously herm prone on its own, or it's just sterile plant to begin with, and you're like, whoa, no wonder there's no one is breeding with this because it's fucking doesn't even produce viable pollen.
That goes back to just the same thing as always. Do you trust your source? You're getting your seeds from. And that's really the difference. I don't care if there's 10,000 breeders now. There's still only maybe 100 people I think that are really enjoying the process and trying to do it right. So that's the source. Know your source. Vet these people. Where have they been? Are they brand new? Have they been anywhere? Like 2 years ago, you Google their name in cannabis to this. It matters now. It does.
There's definitely a lot of people just jumping up in it, and that's why it's cool to have a conversation with people who've been doing it for a while, because it's almost a rare thing nowadays.
And it's not that some of those guys aren't good. It's just that it's a trust factor. That's all. Some of those guys might be fantastic at what they do. It's just that personally, I'd rather go with the source that I personally know. I know their methods, I know their personality, that kind of thing.
I mean, we'll see.
So I feel
the key to all these things, I guess, is just growing them out and fucking figuring it out.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times people don't understand that without growing it. I mean, it's so much easier. It's like if you grow out a bunch of different stuff and then you realize, like, fuck, this shit's all hermed out. It's crazy. Like, well, I'm not going to put it on the market because if I do that, my reputation will be fucking ruined. So, but other people don't give a fuck. They just put it out and claim big giant claims, and then by week 6, they're like, friends are going, you get little bananas on yours. I got bananas too, and then it's pretty obvious that you led everybody down the wrong path. So I think that's the key to all this stuff. As long as you're confident with your gear and you put it out, if it comes back good, then you're on the right path. And if it comes back bad, then we're all in the same problem we were from the beginning. And the reason why this whole thing got a bad reputation is bad selection on your original genetics is what I feel.
It's not the method. That's what it comes down to.
The method's not the
Feminizing
problem.
isn't
It's
bad.
just having
It's the
bad stock
selection.
to begin with. And like a lot of guys don't realize it because they think they're on the top of the fucking pyramid. And you're like, oh, dude, that's like some that's some bad shit right there. You know what I mean? And you're like, well, this guy told me, and I bought some pack. And I was like, no, that's the first part.
Yeah.
You didn't come from like your 20 years of growing this fucking strain over and over and over and over again and nailing it, because that's the hardest part is kind of like seeing. You can't figure out a pattern if someone hands you a pack of seeds. The only way you can figure it out is if you already grew it out the grandparents and you're like, oh yeah, that's that. I see it right away. Boom, throw that away because that sucks.
And also, if you're not already a really good grower, don't breed. Wait, dial in growing first. I see people that I look at they're selling seeds and I look at the pictures and I'm like, dude, that's like not even top 50% in my current Instagram feed. And like, that's what's on your pack? Like really? Like, was that under a fluorescent? Did you like, so if you can't grow, don't breed. If you can't identify those subtle nuances that make great phenotypes and even random phenotypes, because if you didn't grow them properly, how would you even know?
I feel like you can breed all you want, just don't put it out there and pretend.
Yeah,
like
breed it for learn.
Just
Use
don't
it for
pretend
learning.
like you've got something that you don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah, what you said.
All right, gang. We're
I fun with it.
we're at 2 and 15.
Whoa.
Cool.
Whoa.
Thanks, guys.
Over and above the Call of Duty, that's what we do around here. Right?
Yes, sir. Mr. Gordon, thank you for bringing that
20
perspective on
minutes
the
of
show.
shows about audio problems.
Exactly.
Cut that
So
out.
we
It's
made
all-
up for it. Now.
That's the way this show always goes.
Yeah, that's what we do. Mr. Riot, tardy to the party, but gave you something to think about.
Yeah. Sure.
I definitely want you to chew that over the weekend. We'll bring you on in a future one and see what you think about it after you've toyed with the concept.
And then all the winners.
Yeah, after I wake up and play with it, I'm going to think about it and
We had one
figure it
pack
out.
left. What's up?
Yeah, no, well, yeah, we do have one left.
One group.
One
pack.
whole prize pack, right? We'll call it Mephisto Genetics prize pack.
If a third party emails you, just let me know. And yeah, hey, thanks again for having me on.
Yeah, first other person to email us at info@adamdunnshow.com with why they hate Autoflower or feminized. Actually, let's do it both. We'll win the Mephisto Genetics prize pack to prove them wrong. Or they get
I'll throw in a few Autoflowers seeds if you want to out.
There you go.
That's how they will be sold, by the way, in the future. I'll throw in some packs of some Death Star, the Ohio cut.
Sounds good to me.
All right.
Very good. Yeah, thank you so much for everything, and thanks to everybody that's provided genetics for us to work with in the past. Lady Sativa, Gage Green, Bog, everybody that's really, we're standing on the shoulder of giants here. So thanks to everyone that's come before us, and thank you guys for having me on the show. Really, it's an honor.
Thanks for
Definitely,
proving me
rolling
wrong.
through. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, same here. Appreciate it, guys.
right on, guys. And everybody listening in, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for bearing with technical difficulties on the
Love
late
you guys.
start.
Thanks,
Later.
guys. Thanks, Colin.
As you can see, we are actually at Sohai Gallery now. Hopefully, damn soon, we'll be inside Sohai Gallery, in the basement, in the studio, where Vice TV is actually filming right now.
Exactly. And homeless guys are rolling around in the shop.
Yeah, that's a good.
Go
That's
take
always.
care with a stick.
That's always a good one.
We got homeless guys rolling around.
So we're gonna get Vice out of here. We're gonna get the homeless guys out. We're gonna get our audio gear in the basement, and then we won't have gear that breaks anymore. We'll be more on time. Everything will be
One
better.
day, it'll all be good.
In the meantime, shout outs.
Shout out to our beautiful wife, Cece, who's out in Sweden now with little Nick, cruising around, loving life, I'm sure. Shout out to Ace down at the farm. Yes, I'll be down there to work. Don't you worry.
And with these
She never listens to
feeds.
the show anyway. She doesn't give a shit.
Yeah, she doesn't know.
She does not care. She's like, I don't care. Get to work.
But I bet you if you don't shout her out one episode, it'll get back to her,
Somehow
and you'll
she'll be
hear
like,
about
you
it.
did shout
Yes,
me out.
guaranteed, right?
Shout out to the tattoo shop again for helping us out and getting us linked up here to make the show work out.
Yup.
Yes, we good.
Chakra Tattoo at 609 22nd Street. Our neighbors.
Yep.
They're gonna be around. We'll be around.
Also, keep an eye out on all of our social media for the next upcoming show on the 26th with Pogo, which is going to be pretty sick.
Oh, yeah, here at So High. That's going to be a crazy event.
Crunking out.
Yeah, it's like a crunk baller event. Not our style, but I'm
Totally
curious
not
to
our
see how this goes.
We're going to be trapping.
Trapping hard.
Where is Crunchy when we need him?
We might be able to make something happen.
Crunchy.
He's watching right now.
Now, are your guys coming?
My trap guys?
No, your smoothie guys, dope smoothies.
Oh, they're our guys. They hit up the Adam Dunn Show Facebook. They're not my guys.
Oh, they're not your guys?
Yeah, they're our guys.
Our
Or they hit up the So High Facebook, so they're all our guys.
Oh, cool. Are they coming?
We'll hit them up. We'll make it happen.
We're getting tacos. We're getting medicated tacos and smoothies.
That's a good one.
It's gonna be crazy.
Yep, it's gonna be crunk trap party.
So if
for real.
if you're in the neighborhood, crunking out 26th.
The 26th of this month, right?
Exactly.
August 26th. Come by So High Gallery, 2209 Wellman
Trappy
Street.
crunky parties don't have long.
For trappy crunky parties.
They don't have long advertising.
It might even be a trappy crunky crunchy party.
Oh my god! If Crunchy came, it would be a
Yeah, I'll see what we can do.
Come on, Crunch.
Make it happen.
You bastard. Who else?
That's it. You're done? Me? All right, cool. Shout out to you guys for hanging in there. Of course, to my remarkable wife, Reese. Little kiddo Farron, who was successfully potty trained. Figured it out in a week. No problem. Shitting in the toilet by herself. Done deal. Crazy.
Did she say done deal?
I'm teaching her that part.
Yeah, done deal.
I'm going to go have dinner at the lake with them. I think they're listening.
Nice.
So, all right. I'll see you guys soon.
That was your big shout out?
We'll see you guys next week.
That's it?
That's it.
No
Let's do it.
weird ones for monetary value?
Nothing for what you want to know. What not for monetary value, but shout out to Dragon Herbs for the Changbai Mountain Ant drops, the Changbai Deer Antler drops, and the 8 Immortals tonic.
When one thing doesn't work, he's on to the next.
They all work.
Yeah.
For a little while.
You get your shout out, of course.
Go ahead.
At Mephisto__ genetics on Instagram.
There you go.
You can get us through seedsherenow.com, and all of our breeding programs are up at autoflower.net. You can follow along. We always show our work. So yeah, check us out.
Oh, that's really awesome. We should have talked about that before so people could have looked in during the show. But
to have you back on.
Yeah, let's do it. No, they can email us and tell us why they hate your Autoflower specifically.
What? No, they will never say that.
Yeah, no, it's true.
Love it.
Nah, give in. All right, thanks guys for listening in. We'll catch you next week.
Thank you so much.
All right.